Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Gotta shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Ringside Rain and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And now, here is your host, Mark the Mark Martinez.
That's it. That's all you get. There's way too much stuff happening in wrestling.
I can't comprehend what the fuck just happened this week. This was supposed to be a nice, relaxing recap to pay-per-views and call it a week.
Yeah, and talk and me brag about going to Dynamite.
Yeah, and now we have to drama, shit show drama. Is like the story of the week. I don't know.
It really is. I'm Mark the Mark. That's Sir Michael Jenks. We host this train wreck of a podcast called Can Crushers.
I think this week's going to go better than the Scrum after All Out. I'm just saying that. No chairs should be thrown.
Yeah. Well, there's no chance in hell I'm throwing my recliner, so. Good old Vinnie Mac. So we were going to start with Clash with the Castle or Castle Grayskull or whatever. And just go in systematic order of ripping everything apart.
Yeah. That's
not justice anymore. So if you're here for WWE, fast forward because it's going to be late. Yeah. You're going to be waiting a while. We're going to talk about our nonsense like we normally do and then dive into AEW as a whole. Second part will be maybe the breakdown of All Out and me going to Dynamite. And what you guys watched last night. By the way, Jenks, I'm ruining it for you. If you're not watching Rampage tonight, there's two amazing matches. Oh, okay. My God.
Really?
Great matches. I don't know if you know what the main event is or was.
I'm looking it back up because I know they announced it. Excalibur doing his 25-second to fit in 95 card matches and...
Well, it was Claudio against Dax.
Right. I thought that was going to be the case.
Unbelievable.
I mean, whenever you have those two class athletes in the ring, they're going to tear down the roof. I mean, just who they are. Now, I'm assuming... Now, I'm trying to look up the card, and it's not giving me a full picture. So, Claudio and Dax was obviously the first impressive one. I'm assuming you're not talking about Darby and Sammy.
That was the first match out, and I love that. Did
you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And then the middle match, I'll just ruin it if you didn't watch it. It's a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
It's Serena Deeb against Madison Rayne, which they put on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They put on a good match because I don't want to put that air quote women in it. They put on a good match for the time they had allotted. There was again a lot of shit going on Rampage.
Rightfully so.
But we'll get to all that. We have to do this in reverse order. We'll talk about All Out, and we'll get there, but we have to talk about the Scrum. But how was your week, sir?
After the Scrum, it kind of was just up in the air. Complete and utter chaos, I think. But, no, for the most part, it was good. Coming down off of Sunday's fantasy football draft where shit hit the fan in that regard. People weren't getting running backs. People weren't getting anything in their fantasy drafts because they auto-drafted. To just rolling through the week here. And, I'm coming up on the weekend. May or may not see the girlfriend this weekend. She's still getting over her fight with COVID here. But we're looking at it. There could be a possibility I might be able to go somewhere tomorrow and kind of enjoy a live football game. Haven't made the choice yet what we're going to do with that. So,
Whoa. Where are we going to Pitt? To see Pitt, Tennessee?
the idea was thrown out there.
You son of a bitch. That's
So-
two people that I hate.
The idea was thrown out there just today. This is like fresh off the press. It's probably about 12:30 this afternoon. She's like, let me know if you want to go. It's with the girlfriend and her dad and her brother because her dad's a Pitt alum. They needed to see if their brother still wanted to go, and then we were going to go, but we're a package deal. She can't go unless I go. So we'll see what happens with that. But the opportunity is there for Pitt and Tennessee.
Well, I hope you or her cannot go. And Dad is listening to this right now. My phone number is 814. I will meet you there.
cancrusher69@gmail.com. So, yeah, the opportunity has presented itself. I'll know more probably by the end of the night what's going to happen with that.
Cool.
So
I hope you go, and I hope you have a great time. I pulled the trigger just because it's going to work out for people involved. We're going to go to the Rhode Island game in 2 weeks. I know it's
fantastic.
Yeah, it's Rhode Island, it's Pitt, whatever. It's the fucking tickets on like 130 section is $25.
Oh, take that deal all day, every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. Take that game.
Yeah,
Just take it and go.
So I pulled the trigger, so.
Yeah, the one thing
Booyah.
so the one thing I know, if I go to the game, and I'm saying this while we're holding a very Tennessee-like pen, is I have to be on my best behavior. So probably no alcohol, no drinking or anything. I don't know if they sell them at the NCAA games at Heinz Field or Acrisure, but
Heinz Field.
yeah. So I gotta be, it's still Heinz Field to me because I can't pronounce the other name. And Bailey agrees.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I'll just have to be on my best behavior tomorrow. That's about it.
One. You could get away with, see, Bailey says one.
But see, it's her family. If we don't go on these excursions, I'm not going to be that guy. One for me leads to more.
20.
And we're not going there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cap it at 0. Get a water, just relax, and enjoy the football game.
You're a good kid. I mean that you can have them all tonight. You have them all tonight.
I'm sucking up right now. I gotta make brownie points to get ahead here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much my week this week. It was uneventful. Work is work, and just kind of knocking down the line. I'm absolutely feel like I'm 90 right now. I'm just sore. I don't know. I've gone to the gym this week. Does not feel good today. So I barely walked around here like with full capacity of my legs. So it was fantastic, I guess.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that is or not.
No.
We're gonna roll with it. Especially if I end up going to Pitt tomorrow and I gotta climb those stairs. We're gonna see how good I can do that. But that's my week. Bailey agrees. She's like, he's an 85-year-old man. But Mark, how was your week? What have you been up to?
Besides Dynamite within itself was awesome. We have stories about the way up and everything that when we get to the Dynamite segment, I'll talk about them. But a very good week, honestly. Only worked a little bit on Monday because it was a holiday. Tuesday, I worked. It rained, it poured, so I was gritty and miserable over that. And you're like, well, wait, you sounded like you're having a bad week. No, I'm okay. Tuesday, whatever. Wednesday, whatever. And I haven't worked since Wednesday because I just have.
Well, I knew you had Thursday off, so you had today off too?
I decided to pull the trigger on why go back for a day?
That's fair.
And we'll see what happens weekend. Monday night might get pulled too. I don't know. We'll just got lots of time to use by the end of the year. And it's just like, okay, we're back to pseudo full staff, at least on the garbage guys. So, let's screw everybody else over since we've been screwed over all year. And no, I'm kidding. Yeah, it is what it is. Thursday I didn't wake up until 8:00, which is sleeping in. It was amazing. Getting home at 2, I slept in until 8. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I decided, let me reach out to a tattoo artist. And she didn't have an opening, but the other girl did, who had been planning to do Thunder Rosa tattoo.
Oh, okay. Very nice. So you got the Thunder?
I got the Thunder. It's on the back. I'll send you a picture. It's already gooped and gobbled and everything. But yeah, so I went and got Thunder, and it looks amazing. And then I saw she's still coming to WrestleCade, and then more have come. Red Velvet's now going to be at WrestleCade too.
Oh, fantastic.
So now I have to, like, in line for Julia, in line for Red Velvet, see if Thunder signs this. Yeah. Today, me and the dogs went to the Golden Arches, and we all got a 10-piece.
Nice. Very nice.
So, and now I'm cleaning out my beer fridge. That's about it.
That's a perfect day. I don't know. Did you see Wendy's is selling the 50-piece nuggets in a bucket for $10 or something like that now?
No.
I've seen this on TikTok, so I don't know if it's happening in our areas or that, but there are people that are going out getting 50-piece nuggets, spicy or regular, in a bucket for $10 at Wendy's.
I clearly need to check that. That might be tomorrow's ride then.
Yeah.
Me and the boys splitting 53 ways, 15 apiece, and then maybe I get the other 5 because I drove.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, that would make up for the gas.
Yeah,
so.
unless Miggy wants to drive, I'll let him.
Yeah, I think he's earned his right to drive. So
yeah. Tomorrow's a rough day. Everybody knows, as the real podcast will be posted in the morning, but I always repost the celebration of Mom's life and the fuckery that was at 7:55 every year. If you've never listened to it, you just joined Can Crushers. Put the women and children to bed because it is ruthless, but it's worth it. And then I want to watch a Pit game. They did 3:30, so
yeah,
not a lot of nothing tomorrow too.
There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it.
All right, let's get to wrestling.
Do we have to?
I know. Hot topics. Sorry, WWE.
You've been pushed.
All right, so the pay-per-view happens, and we'll break it down here in the next segment. But this scrum, Jensen, I've been kind of on and off reading everything from dirt sheets and this, that, and the other. You told me something right as I hit record that didn't make it. This has been planned? Wait, what did you read?
So, from what I've read so far today, and I think it was through Meltzer, I'd have to double check that to make sure, but there was comments made by Punk a couple weeks ago that said this media scrum after All Out would be interesting. And it's leading many to believe that he had these comments preloaded and ready to go for this media scrum afterwards, which obviously lends itself to premeditation to that point, which at that point, if that's the case, Jesus fucking Christ. Why? I mean, so
let's just say we'll cover the pay-per-view and then my thoughts of Dynamite because we have to wrap up a little bit of everything that happened on Wednesday as well. Yeah. Do you think that Tony did the right thing? Well, Punk wasn't wrestling, period, because then on the way to Buffalo, it said Punk has been injured now. And I thought to myself, because I think bad sometimes before worse, I'm like, this son of a bitch. And I will wave the flag of Punk all the time because I love his in-ring work. Right. I'm clearly getting to, you're a bastard right now. And why? Why are you tainting something that is strong and we're loving? But disregard that. Do you think Tony did the right thing by first stripping him of the title and then throwing the Bucks and Omega on suspension and stripping those titles as well?
So I think he had to. His hands were tied on this. So in my opinion, it was his best move for the locker room to suspend everyone involved. Now, he could have suspended Punk, stripped Punk of the title if it only stayed at the press conference. The media scrum, he spoke his mind, just went off for some reason. He could have suspended Punk, probably wouldn't have stripped him of the title at that point. But it was the actions afterwards. And if you have one party involved and you can't suspend one half of the party without suspending the other half of the super kick party, if we want to throw that out there. Because whether you like it or not, the EVPs were all involved in that fight. The melee, the chairs throwing, the biting, the kicking, whatever you want to say, everyone was involved in it. They had to be suspended at that point. You can't, if they would have said, Punk, you're suspended and stripped, EVPs, you guys are good, take a week off, come back in a week. I feel like that would have lost the locker room, proved Punk's point, and it would have severely hurt what Tony Khan and AEW had built up to this point. So, in my opinion, he really had no choice. He had to strip them.
I agree 150,000,000%. I think this was probably the hardest thing Tony had to do since bringing AEW to life and, funding all of this. And I think it proves a point, and we might be the only ones, and it doesn't matter, that I think it showed this is more for the fans. This is to give wrestling, take the air quotes away from it this time. It's wrestling. We need to get away from the backstage politics. To piggyback essentially what Mox said during that promo. This is not, yes, it's entertainment, yes, but it's not the entertainment that is from the WWE, the shtick and everything like this. It's wrestling with entertainment thrown into it, not entertainment with wrestling thrown into it.
Exactly.
So I think Tony Khan did the best thing he could. Do I think maybe one more could have been involved? And I love the guy. How's Hangman get out of this scot-free?
That's a great question. I think at the end of the day, Hangman doesn't. I mean, I don't think he's getting... I think Hangman's penance, he's not getting out of it scot-free. So we saw what transpired on Wednesday on Dynamite. Bryan Danielson's in, whatever. I think Page is going to suffer maybe a little bit of a losing streak on TV. I don't think he's fully... I think they had to put him in there because, A, Hangman wasn't the main contributor to this fight. You're there by proxy. You're involved by proxy because of your actions back in May that were perceived by Punk at that point as being unprofessional. We haven't heard. I haven't heard that he got hit with or he was throwing punches or anything like that. So I think we just see Hangman in a little bit of a slump going forward more than anything. That's going to be Hangman's penance. I don't see him getting taken off TV and removed and anything like that. So
he's getting the Triple H click type of penance.
Yeah, exactly. He'll get it for, let's say, through the end of the year. They'll give him that penance. The new year starts. He'll go on. The other thing with Hangman Page, though, is he really wasn't doing anything before this tournament.
Right.
What was he going to do? Was it the Death Triangle, or not the Death Triangle, I'm sorry, the Dark Order angle where they get mad at him, they turn on him? What were they going to do? I mean, we can get into All Out and all that with everything that happened there. But they kind of painted them. They lost that storyline because Alex Reynolds is injured. And I don't know how injured he is or what. That came out after All Out, before we even knew there was a fight in the backstage area. So I think he was kind of in limbo anyway. So I don't know if it's going to do too bad a damage. The Triple H click thing, he was set to win the King of the Ring. He was on fast pace to get to the title shot. He lost it for a year and had to take back, well, let's say 3 years, because at that point he had to fight for the Intercontinental title over that time, and he had to rebuild himself back up to 99 to get it. That's not going to be Page, but I also don't think Page is getting a sniff of the world title and wasn't scheduled to for a very long time.
No, I don't either. So 6 months, essentially, from wherever you might see him back into a decent storyline. He's just going to link. And I'm feeding these to Jenks because these are my thoughts as well. The other thing, like from what I read, Nakazawa and Cutler were trying to break it up. And I'm not defending them, but they can't be on TV without the Bucks and Omega. No,
Right.
no slap to them, but they don't do anything.
Well, you can't have Cutler out there spraying people with cold spray half the time when they're not even part of it. So, yeah.
So they get slapped with. And how long have we read this suspension? How long are we? I know it's not out there. How long do we have a suspension for these guys?
I saw a shadow come past my hallway, and it was a little weird. So I always thought there was a poltergeist or some shit going on. So I feel like Nakazawa and Cutler, they may not. I can't imagine they're going to be too long of suspensions, but they're probably going to be more backstage than anything. So I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal. So I think anybody that wasn't the main five in this, so the Bucks and Omega, Punk and Ace Steel, outside of those five, you're going to get something, but it's going to be very lenient, slap on the wrist. Like, okay, you guys were there. You're trying to break it up. Kudos to you, but at the same time, you're going to get punished for it. How long? So let me throw this back at you. What is the length of time? It's two separate suspensions here, I feel like, or two separate scenarios. So let's start with this, because I'm guessing you might have been going there at some point. How long do you see the EVPs suspended for? The Young Bucks and Omega?
After the next pay-per-view.
So Full Gear.
Yeah, after Full Gear.
Now, do you think they're suspended from backstage activities, or are they suspended just from on-screen through the next pay-per-view?
That's a good point. Like, are they home? Are they just like, we're not doing anything?
Okay.
They have their hands into so much.
Yep.
So much. If it's just a wrestling, and it's not a storyline. It's not. If it's just a wrestling storyline, I think it would just be until the pay-per-view, but they're still around. The thing is, all their social media is hand in hand. They could just be walking by and somebody takes a picture and you see that Matt is talking to the Acclaimed about their upcoming match or something like that. I feel it's got to be all or nothing. I really do.
I could see that too. I think, so on that front, I think you're right with the Young Bucks, at least. It's all or nothing with them. You can't be in the backstage area and be involved, right? You can't be in the backstage area at all. With Omega, he has a little bit of an out with this. It sucks that he just came back from the injury. They brought him back, grand fashion. He's Will Ospreay's favorite wrestler, Kevin Nash's new favorite wrestler. He had all the grandeur around it.
He ate at North Carolina. Yeah.
It's Bailey's looking at me right now. But with Kenny Omega, it's very easy for them to say, you're done with on-screen stuff, but hey, we have this video game to get pushed out. So you know what? Just spend your talents doing that.
Yep.
With the Young Bucks, I think it's all or nothing to your point. But maybe they do behind the stage things with merchandising or marketing or things of that nature. I could see them working from home essentially at some point in this. But I think you're right. Through Full Gear, we're not going to see the Bucks and Omega. Now, if it turns out we're wrong and it's 2 weeks and they end up at Arthur Ashe challenging Death Triangle, spoilers, for the Trios Championship, that's a whole other story in its own right.
I don't think they should sniff those titles again for a while.
I don't think they should sniff them at all.
Wow, touche.
But to your point, if they decide that, okay, we need to put the titles on them for Cloud or something, you're right. It should be after a year, something like that. But, yeah, they already have their names on them as the first. No matter what happened.
For 2 days. It wasn't 2 days. I mean, essentially it was Sunday to Wednesday before he got stripped. But, he was thinking of this. When was it official?
Oh, they probably stripped them Monday. I'm thinking everything fell Monday. So, yeah. So I guess now we talked about Young Bucks.
Let's bring up the other two big ones.
Let's bring up the other two who would, and especially the big one, who was the catalyst. Well, let's start with Ace Steel. Let's go with the smaller fish in this big pond. Ace Steel, where do you see him in this? Because first of all, he had an issue a couple weeks before when he got Punk to sign the contract, swearing on TV, so that probably dinged him a little bit. And now his whole involvement trying to bite Kenny Omega in the middle of a fight, is he just done?
Well, if he's done, Punk has already said he's gone too. I did read that. If Ace Steel's, which I'm going to loop them together.
Okay.
Either don't need to be around for a year.
No.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Because Punk's not 8 months, 9 months, whatever it is with this pec. We all know it's probably 6, like Cody's is going to be.
Yeah.
But, all right, wouldn't it be, if you're going to bring back Punk, let's just go by this right now. You're going to bring back Punk. All Out is where you should probably bring him back, right? You're not going to bring him back at Mark and Jenks' house show.
Yeah. Not going to do Revolution. Not going to do Double or Nothing. It's going to be All Out because that's the big show. Yeah.
So that's essentially a year. Maybe some has got off. Maybe he's back, but not in the locker room, or he's making amends or whatever. He's reaching out to people and say, all right, listen, everybody, this is when we're going to come back. And I hope we don't find out about it, because I'm still, like I said earlier on, I love what he did in ring, but now I'm getting a little salty about this backstage stuff. I don't know. I cannot not be a Punk, because I'm not getting laser remover on the tattoo. But I will always be a Punk fan. But I was also a Hogan fan as a child as well. And now the human being overtakes the character.
Yeah.
We talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Benoit.
Yep.
This is nowhere near the Benoit thing, so don't put fucking words in our mouths. Right. But I'm just saying, like, this is a bad taste for wrestling right now for Punk. You need to step away, injury or not. Yeah.
I'm firmly in the camp that I think they just need to cut the ties. Because listen, if he comes back in a year, whatever, great. That means they mended fences enough to make this happen. But everything we're reading, and again, you can't trust everything you see on the internet, sources lie, yada, yada, yada. You don't know the true story. But based on the evidence we know now, this seems to be a premeditated blitz at the media scrum, unsolicited commentary on Scott Colton, Colt Cabana, who hasn't been around to defend himself, even if these attacks, he just hasn't been around.
Right.
Then you're going after the EVPs. This was direct shots fired at everyone involved, and there's a theory running out there that he took shots at Tony Khan without anybody realizing that. But I can't see him coming back and it not being a toxic environment, because you're essentially he has friends in that locker room. Let's be fair. He has friends. He has FTR, but FTR are professionals. They know I'm not taking my grievances and airing them live in public. They didn't say anything about the video games when they were cut out of them. They haven't said anything about any issues that they've had. I'm sure they've had a couple since then, but they haven't brought them out to the public. So the FTR is ultimate professionals in this regard. Punk is now stepping out. I sometimes I just think he takes the voice of the voiceless thing too seriously.
Yep.
And he's taking it too seriously here. Oh, there's corruption. There's things of this nature. Listen, man, no shit.
It's wrestling. Yeah.
It's wrestling. They're friends. The elite is inbred into all elite wrestling. The second word is elite.
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
They knocked on Tony Khan's door. Yeah.
They knocked on Tony Khan's door for the money. They were looking for a company for themselves to wrestle in. It's there. It happens. That's fine.
Yep.
However, you cannot take down morale and separate a locker room as decisively as you have done here.
Yep.
In my personal opinion, everything I'm seeing, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm just done with him at this point.
Taking some because this is going to sound like I'm just agreeing with you but I'm taking, if there's money in the AEW that there is, you're just saying, I signed you for whatever, 5-year deal, whatever. Listen, you did this, we did this. Let's come to a fucking agreement. Here's your buyout.
Yeah.
Or if there's not a buyout, Tony's like, I'm going to pay you for those 5 years. You're not going to sniff anything again, so you can be released, or you can take your money, or we can work on this buyout, but you will never be in an AEW ring again. Yeah. And that's sad. But
that is sad. The redemption story has come to a horrific ending.
Yep.
This started last year in Chicago to a beautiful reception, and it was supposed to be magical, and it was building up to something magical. But in my mind, whenever he found out he was going to win the title the first time, it seems like things took turned south.
He puffed.
Went bad. He puffed. He puffed and became something he was fighting against. Now, that's just my opinion on it. I don't know what happened, but this is also my opinion, and it might get some heat, it might get some hate, but I think it's a valid point. AEW was perfectly fine without Punk.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine going forward without Punk. He came in, he was a special attraction. People wanted to see his redemption arc with Darby, with, can't remember who he fought at Full Gear, but then
Kingston.
He fought Kingston at Full Gear, that's right.
MJF.
MJF after that, the series of matches with MJF, the potential match with MJF, which should have been the fucking story Sunday night.
Yep.
It was not. He turned it on its head, and it became about Punk again. But, with that being said, they don't need Punk.
They don't. They don't.
No.
Wrestling, and I'm talking about WWE and Impact and ROH as long as it was, and Indies and everything. Wrestling lived 7 years without Punk. I thought I'd never say this. Wrestling can move on without Punk.
It can. We didn't think it could after 2014. And when 2019 came and AEW came, there was hope. There was finally that light of hope that said, okay, there's something different out there than just WWE. And then Punk came back in summer of 2021. Our hearts elated. We were fucking great. Everything was fantastic. But then somebody pissed in the Cheerios, and now the sunshine and rainbows are just dark lightning over the span because of this incident. So, to that point, they don't need them. They never did.
No. They didn't. They have, I'm not naming the big guys because you guys know the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
They have Wardlow. They have Darby. They have MJF. They have Starks. They got the Acclaimed. They have people that are so infested into our systems now that, all right, not that we want the Acclaim to break up before they win, but you get Caster a couple years, he's carrying that. MJF's carrying it now. You know, I'm sorry. Yeah. Punk,
We're on
thank you.
Yeah.
We love you, but
thank you. We're on the cusp of the pillars taking over.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho's not going to be around that long. I'm surprised he's been around this long, and that's a testament to him, his conditioning, DDP yoga, anything you want to attribute that to, it's to that.
Yeah.
That's what's keeping Jericho around full time. You know, Kingston's over 40. A lot of people are forgetting that. Kingston's over 40. He's doing as best he can, but we only got a few more years with Kingston. Maybe that. You know, there's a lot of guys in there that they're older in age, and they've literally were only there for the first couple years to set up the company, get it established, and then let these stars build themselves so that when they walk off into the sunset, they can take it over. So.
And hey, there's other, because you called them this and I agree with it, there's other attractions that can come in and do what Punk was going to do for 1 or 2 years that are just floating around right now. That we were like, holy shit, if I don't even have one on the top of my head. Wrestler X Bob Smith's a real person, by the way. We found that out this week on the Highlander interview, because I was using that Bob Smith guy. He's like, I actually know Bob Smith. So I have to say Wrestler X now. Wrestler X can come in, do that 2-3 year stint that Punk was working on, and we'd be just as fucking pumped.
Yeah. And everybody would love it.
Punk, you did this to yourself.
I agreed. This was the actions of your consequences will come and bite you in the ass at some point.
Yeah.
No matter how many muffins you eat during a scrum, it's not going to sugarcoat it enough to prevent it from happening. So.
Yeah. Oh. So it's been a rough week. And I don't want to, again, Dynamite, but to have Moxley start, and it really has been a pseudo dark week about AEW. Yeah. It really has, because of the backstage stuff, some hearsay about a superstar that wanted to release. She came back and said, no, don't fucking listen to people. Malachi, but he's got restrictions on his release, maybe to get worked on, help mentally and everything, and then please come back. There was some wonky stuff, and I think, Jenks, before we get into the wrestling aspect of it, I think we may see a couple more people ask for a release or jump ship before this gets worked out, where we're back to craziness again. And I mean the good craziness. Because there's some people that were on, like, Punk's bandwagon. They loved that he came over. Omega has a ton of clout, so the Young Bucks, they might say, hey, you're only a special attraction. That whole, I love that you said special attraction. You're only going to be used as a special attraction. Maybe they don't want that anymore. Maybe, and I'm using Kingston because maybe he's up on old and I hope he never leaves. Kingston flying around doing indie shows, people are going to go nuts about. You give him an open mic at an indie show? I'm going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, exactly. Like, Kingston will talk you guys into a building, sell you there, and then deliver on that performance afterwards.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's going to be some more fallout from this. The question is who and when. Because I don't know if it's going to happen immediately or if it's going to be a long drawn out thing where people are slowly realizing, okay, this is not what I want this company to be, or this isn't what I expected when I signed up for it, or it was a lot different when Punk was here, and now it just is not my jam, and I just want out. So I think it's going to be more of a spaced out, still connected to this, but I think over the next couple months we're going to see those names drop. I don't think it's going to be an immediate drop of names.
I don't either. They did say, because the other two that I kind of hinted about, I want to talk about on the way up to Buffalo, and me and Nick went. So I'll hold on to those. But Bobby Fish, we talked about it last week. He essentially has been given his release, I guess, but now he says he wants to shoot fight Punk and he's ready to fucking go.
He's already called him a see you next Tuesday. Everything's going. He's ready. He will find Punk in Chicago, I feel like, if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know Bobby Fish personally. Some people have talked about Bobby Fish being like a jokester and everything. I bet you he can scrap. Like, I'd be worried about meeting him down by 10th Avenue.
He's not posting jiu-jitsu kicks and karate kick photos and videos and all that just for shits and gigs. He's going to fight you. And if I feel like this is not the jokester side of Bobby Fish. I feel like this is Bobby Fish wants to fight you and kill you if he gets his eyes on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because not only did it tarnish AEW, but this is news. This isn't just like Kelly, my wife, heard about, it made news, TMZ and everything. She's like, what the hell's going on with your wrestling boys? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it tarnished wrestling. A little bit.
No, I think it turns wrestling a lot of it.
Yeah.
AEW specifically, and you hinted to that already, but this is what happens when you act like unprofessional assholes and don't actually have the conversation. This isn't the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s where you scrap in the back, figure it out, punch each other a couple times, and then it's done. This is a new age where there's cameras everywhere, there's people everywhere,
Phones.
There's sources, phones, everything is everywhere. You have to be civilized backstage. And people joke and say, oh, the toughness isn't there because they play video games and they do this and they do that. No, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with playing video games, but there's nothing wrong with handling things professionally and not with your fists. This isn't mano a mano. You're trying to build a business to succeed. And whether you like it or not.
And there's another great point.
Yeah.
It's a fucking business.
Exactly. It's a business. Whether you like it or not, it's a corporation of sorts. So you have to act professional in it. This isn't my Johnson's bigger than your Johnson or Big Dick Johnson's going to come walking in. This is, we need to work together to get this shit done. Even though I hate you too, and I can say that to your face, I hate you. I have to work with you and be cordial with you to make this business successful. Because if our goal is to just keep pace with WWE, then we have to act professionally when doing that.
Yep. So let me throw out this last little bit about the whole scrum and this, and then we'll move along to the shows. Let's say Punk didn't get hurt. No suspensions, none of this were happening. Well, no, suspension still. So suspension, so because it kind of still had to happen. Can't you just throw Punk out there and have MJF take it right off the bat so you at least get that payday? Because that payday is now officially gone. Which, there's a bigger payday. There's another payday on the same level coming, and I'm excited for it now.
Yeah.
But we all wanted the Punk MJF payday of MJF. Come on, folks, you know he's winning it at some point, and we all think we know where. But we'll stay here for a minute. You lose out on a big payday now. A big payday.
Yeah.
That probably was Arthur Ashe's main event.
Oh, I completely agree. It was going to be Arthur Ashe because where else to do it but in MJF's hometown? Why wouldn't you do it there? Why wouldn't he want it there? You know, if Punk didn't get injured, I don't think this stretches 2 weeks, though. I feel like Tony Khan would have taken the title off of him in Buffalo. Here's why.
We were hoping.
Yeah, I know. Right? Everybody was hoping. Because you have to suspend him. He has to be done, but you have to do what's right for business. And you could go back to the Double or Nothing with Wardlow MJF, or when they had that fight, and MJF just got powerbombed 10 times, and that was it. We were speculating, would he do business for Wardlow? Would he at least show up? He showed up, did what he had to do, whether it was part of the storyline or not, whatever, but he at least did the business and got Wardlow over. I think it happens. It might not be the ideal situation of being in middle of Buffalo, New York, but you got to do it. And the payday would have been sweet, and I don't think it would have lasted that long either. I think it would have been another Wardlow situation. They were not having a 30-minute classic like they've had in the past.
No.
I guarantee you it would have been
a Moxley Punk match. The first one.
Yeah, but I also think it would have involved Stokely and his boys jumping him beforehand, and then MJF coming in, taking Chip, cashing in, and getting the title.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We were hoping. We were hoping big time. All right, so those are our thoughts a little bit on the scrum. Crazy, tainted, and it has us in a flux of what's going on. But we have to talk about the matches about All Out. So we'll get to those. We'll keep predicting where we think everything's going to go to. But you have to buy stuff from Collar and Elbow first.
Yeah.
Hats, hoodies, tees, all that cool stuff that Al Snow and the Hooligans have down there. When you're checking out, use the promo code CANCRUSHERS, all one word, capital C and CAN, capital C and Crushers. You save 10%. Find us on all the socials, Insta, Facebook, and Twitter. There's been some random tweets going out that I'm not putting on the other ones. Like, you actually hear me singing the Chris Jericho song.
It's Judas in our mind. That's all it is.
It is. So maybe we'll get those. I want to do more on those, just to extra things on here or there. So make sure you check those out. Ask Can Crushers is coming up in maybe 3 weeks now. I don't know when the next WWE pay-per-view is, but maybe 3 weeks is what I'm shooting for. Jenks has already given it to you, so let's see if you remember it. CanCrusher69@gmail.com. And I think that's it. Listen to us everywhere. That's it.
There it is. There's your plug.
Yeah. I do have another pseudo sponsor to say in our next break, so we'll wait for that. For right now, here comes Al Snow.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Tune in for a tune-up. You're listening to Can Crushers with Amber Nova.
And welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. We'll lighten up. It's time to talk about the wrestling events that happened this week. My trip to Buffalo to see Dynamite, and in segment 3, it happened longer than everything that's happened, but Castle Grayskull. Before we get there, though, Jenks, last Saturday I was down. Guys that has been long-time listeners of the Can Crusher show here. IRS, Soup Geist got married last Saturday, and what an awesome wedding, first off and foremost.
Yeah.
They did it on the Overlook in Pittsburgh, and I'm jealous that get ready. I could get haters like this. You see people doing like cool weddings like this, and I'm so old school for my mom and my grandma and everything, like the church weddings and everything like this. They just did their own vows. They did all that cool stuff like that. And I'm like, well, maybe we should renew our vows sometimes. But the little motherfucker said at the end, I'm going to love you then, now, and forever together. God. I cried the whole day, first and foremost, because he comes up to me and they wanted just a simple wedding. He gives me a hug. He's like, you're my best man. We just didn't want to do those types of things. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. You tell me on your wedding day. So Mark's a crier. So I'm like, thank you, Soup. And then he brings in the then, now, forever together. I'm like, because it was Yankees and wrestling. Well, it was Yankees because his colors were navy and white. Okay. He wore navy, she wore white, so it was awesome. Minuscule people there, maybe like 70, 75. Next wedding. I'm kidding. Next wedding. Having minimal people. No, I'm kidding. But the renewing of the vows or something, maybe that's something you look into. But yeah. So congratulations.
I have a terrible minister for you too, by the way.
I know it is. They're in the Virgin Islands. They worked a little bit this week since it was like a holiday week. So congratulations, Soup and Azure. I love you.
Congrats.
So, yes. Yeah. By the way, we got there early because that's the way Mark rolls.
Yeah. People
were walking in, carrying stuff this side. I'm like, all right, we'll just come back and get that later. And we still haven't sent it out because you know how I am with mail. Plus, they're in the Virgin Islands. I don't want it to be sitting on their doorstep for a week. Their card and present is now sitting in the podcast room. It went for a drive down. I said, when we get into like the food portion of this, I was going to send Kelly down to get it. My aunt was there running around. We were down by the car 75 times. Got home. I said, what's in the back seat? Yeah. Made his
It's a
way.
good place for it.
Yeah, because your shit's still in here too. Your Mandy Rose and yeah.
Well, I know that's not coming till my birthday probably next year.
Fuck you. I just don't like going to the post office.
I mean, I don't blame you.
That's all it is. All right. So we watched All Out. We had a little bit of tech scheme going together. I had somebody come over and hang out as well. So we're going to get our true thoughts of really talking about All Out today because we didn't deep dive into it like we normally do. They call it 0 Hour now, not the buy-in, huh?
Yeah, apparently, I kind of like that name better than the buy-in, to be honest.
I do, but what's wrong with pre-show? Just keep it generic. Just whatever.
First of all, it's a wrestling company, man.
I know.
We got to name it something snappy. I mean, you got the red stripe going. You know, you got to get snappy going with it. So
I do. I am down to sparkling things after this, lemonades, and like I told you, it's clean out tonight, so the fall stuff can get its way in. Sam and Ty against Ruby and Ortiz was a fight.
Yeah.
Not even a match. He got run over. I like the little comebacks of Sammy every once in a while getting hit by a gator or a golf cart. Yeah.
I can't wait. I love that that's a recurring theme throughout his career.
Yeah.
And there's just no reason for it, but it just happened.
I'm gonna question this. How long before we get Anna and Ty and a Sammy kerfuffle or a menage a trois angle going? That's what's going to happen. Anna's saving their asses way too much.
Yeah. I could see it happening. I thought they were going to do some love crap with 2.0 or something like those guys, but yeah, I can see it happen. It's starting to formulate. The triangle is starting here. It's going to be a slow burn. I really hope they wouldn't resort to that, but they're going to.
I think they're going to.
Yeah.
Ruby's nose got busted bad.
Let's go down that path. She's lucky in the aspect that only her nose got busted bad, because when she got dropped on her head earlier in the match, I was wincing horribly. And I had a lot of complaints about, like, I was in my mind and I was ready to go. I was punk going. I was about to throw fists. Like, you cannot drop somebody like that, Sammy. No. You're better than that. I know you're better than that. That was just a careless throwdown to Ruby. And unfortunately, her nose got broken later on in the night. So that it was disgusting. It was a fight, to your point, but her nose got completely obliterated and blown up. Probably as bad, if not worse, than what Cena's did when Seth hit him with the knee back in 2015.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of this. Like, I don't know. When did AAA make this mixed tag team championships? I'm not being a dick. I've never heard of it until they had it.
To be honest, I think they made it so that they could win it. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I'm in the same boat as you. I had never heard of the tag titles until Sammy and Ty got it. These mixed tag titles. So I think it was just so that they could have a title together and show off gold.
And I hate everybody knows that I have a man crush on Sammy, so I was so happy he was in Buffalo. I have a man crush. Man, I don't like him and Ty together. I really don't. I mean, congratulations that you're married. She's beautiful. There's so much more for Sammy to do. Ty is nowhere near his level. So he's like training her as they're doing matches.
Yeah. I agree with that, but let me ask you this. Let's throw this one out there. Let's bleed back into the drama a little bit, because it was supposed to be Kingston and Sammy at All Out.
Yep.
They had a kerfuffle. They fought, and somehow, so it's this Sammy's penance of, listen, man, you're just working with Ty straight now. That's all you're going to do for a few months is just work with Ty straight. Is that, nothing wrong with working with your significant other, anything of that nature, but you're right. Ty's not at that level. Sammy's training her up to be at that level. If she was at that level, we could argue that Ruby's nose would not have been broken the way it was. So I think that's the element here is he's just being handcuffed with Ty as a little bit of a penance for that. Meanwhile, Kingston's getting to work with Ishii later on in the a 0 hour, which I don't know. I feel like he might have upgraded there a little bit with that fight, but that's a different story.
Yeah. By the way, this was not on our prediction because this was added late. So
yeah,
I'm going to say it now. I would have went Sammy Ty anyway just because where it was going, but I'm not going to write it down and hold it against us if you would have said.
Well, there's no way you bet against Sammy or Ty. Ortiz and Ruby is more thrown together a little bit here. Just the relationship with Kingston's why they're together.
Right.
I would have went Sammy and Ty too. I hated the action in this, so I gave it a 1. Like I because of how things went down, and I think I hold a grudge with how Ruby was tossed about and her nose being broken. I gave it a 1.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. This was. I'm glad it was on the 0 hour.
Yeah, agreed.
Next thing up we have is Hook against Cool Hand, Angelo Parker. You text me thinking it was going to be a 15-second match. It went 3 minutes and 38 seconds or whatever.
I timed it 3 minutes 38 seconds. It was right around a Goldberg match. But I was actually surprised by that because we talked last week. I thought Cold Hand was getting beat in 15 seconds, and then Daddy Magic was going to come in, have a match, and it would have been the same thing.
Yeah,
and
I wrote down
like
Hook
that.
cubed. So
yeah, Hook cubed. But no, we got Action Bronson instead, who I had no idea was a person. I did not know he did Hook's song either. So
yeah, you wait till I fucking talk about the next couple of people singing stuff because oh my god, you know how much I love that in the first place.
Oh, I know.
Action Bronson. Moving along.
And that's a tag team match now, Arthur Ashe, isn't it? Or he's going to be at Arthur Ashe?
I hope so. I fucking hope so. My God. Kip Sabian against Pac. I like this.
I did too.
I really did. Oh, so what do you give the Hook 3 minutes?
I'm giving it 1. I mean, it was a Hook squash. There's nothing. There's nothing to it.
The thing is, we're shitting on this pay-per-view, but we start not to here in a minute.
No, it's going to pick up right with this match.
Yeah. Kip had a little ring rust, and you saw it, but man, he can work through it. This was believable, and for a brief moment, I'm like, they're giving this to Sabian, and that's all right. Because I understand, same thing we said for the last couple weeks, this is Pac's title to travel with and everything. But now looking ahead to what we know, I'm like, man, they should have gave it to Sabian.
Yeah.
But overall, damn, this was a great match. Like, I really like this match.
Pac and Sabian have great chemistry, and they worked it today. To your point, Sabian worked through the ring rust. There was those little spots, but it was barely noticeable. If you hadn't been watching wrestling for 20 plus years, you probably didn't pick up on it. So it was just little things that were there. But man, they went back and forth, and for being out for 500 days, he looked way better than anything. So I give it to Sabian. I have a newfound respect for him, and we knew Pac could go, so we knew this was going to be Pac's forte, and he was going to be fine. But Sabian, man, he went, and they got the chemistry off.
I thought the box was just a gimmick to sit on the outside to hide his face because he was disgusted with himself. I didn't know the box is now Head or Moppy that is now running his life. And once he started yelling at the box, I got louder because I thought, yes, this is a little bit of stupid nonsense we like.
Yeah.
And it is that the box is going to be running his life for a while. It sounds stupid, but it works.
It does work. This is professional wrestling. Of course it works. If you have the right people with it. Like Al Snow with Head, perfection. He made it work. Perry Saturn with Moppy, it was the stupidest goddamn thing, but it worked because of Perry Saturn. Kip Sabian in a box, it's going to work.
Apparently.
Kip Sabian can act his ass off. I'm just waiting for the payoff where he starts yelling, "What's in the box?" And then he starts getting really frustrated with it, and then there's destruction of it. So I love it. I love that a box. I don't know why. It's inanimate objects apparently that just drive us.
Yes.
And we're like
children.
We're children. Bailey agrees. We're a bunch of children, but man, this is gonna be good.
3.5.
Yeah, I was gonna go 3.5, 4, because I was leaning towards the 4, but I'll go 3.5.
3.5 for me. Because the next one, as much as it was Kingston against Ishii, we say it wrong.
We do.
Damn it, I can't think how it Ishii or it's Ishii.
Ishii.
Yeah. Oh my God. My heart would have blown up. The Chop Fest, and it didn't need to be anything more than that.
No.
It told it told an amazing story. Like, this match beat some of the other ones on the card. Like, holy shit.
I kind of wish this was during the main card.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was probably one of my favorite Kingston matches he's had in what I've watched. So watch him his work in AEW. This was the Chop Fest. This was the wincing I want to do. Like, you're chopping to turn him black and blue, hamburger meat chest. That to me wince me that way, not dropping somebody on their head.
Yeah.
You're right. This was perfect. And I was surprised. They gave them 20 minutes to do this.
I know.
That was outrageous to me. So, man, great thing. I loved at the end where Kingston tried to give him props and Ishii wasn't not having it whatsoever. He wanted nothing to do with it.
I want more. This needs to wrap back around.
Full Gear. I don't care. Arthur Ashe. Get him back. Let's do this. Let's run it again.
Yeah. Main show time.
Wait, what are you giving it?
Oh, I gave it a 4.
You gave it a 4? Ooh, I'm going 4.5.
Okay.
I really like it a lot.
Okay. Yeah, 4. I mean, like, I'm slowly... There's one match that steals the show. It absolutely... It's my 6-beer match, and you know what it is. So
yeah.
We both, by the way, just FYI, we both got that the Joker was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker won. So as of right now, we're 4-0 because we're that damn good. And we continued. There's only one that messes us up, and the 6-pack's on the line. So okay. I was happy that it was MJF. I was a little distraught that that's how he did it. Because once everybody came down, MJF's always said, the devil. I knew it was MJF. I think everybody probably knew it was MJF.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I may have wanted this a little bit later in the card then.
I think they did it perfectly.
Okay.
I think this was perfectly done, obviously to build up the suspense till the end when they revealed him. But let's be honest, the way the casino ladder match was starting to fall out, they were hitting some spots, but they weren't hitting a lot of spots. So you knew whatever the Joker was the main attraction of this match.
Right.
Have
it be Joe that we thought maybe, or MJF, or whatever, yeah.
Things were picking up at that point. Then you have everybody come out and start attacking, whether it was Morrissey or the Guns. Stokely's crew comes down and gets the chip. And I'm sitting there like, well, what the fuck? Who the hell's the Joker at this point? Because at that point, you're not thinking MJF. Because, Stokely and him.
Because he came out later. Yeah.
He came out, You're not thinking him. Because Stokely, and you're like, who the hell's Stokely supporting? Who's the Joker? Because who would align himself with fucking Stokely Hathaway? Then they started playing. First of all, they spent the money for Sympathy for a Devil, which threw me for the. I was surprised, but I know everybody was surprised by that. But that's millions of dollars they invested. And then the Joker struts out. the devil, and he had that fucking walk, and he had those Miss Bronze fucking tan lines on the wrists, and I'm like, motherfucker, this is who we think it is.
Yep.
And we started going back and forth through text messages. Well, it was Cody and I mostly because you had a guest over, but we were going back and forth. And I'm like, the one line I said during that, I was like, I know he said he was a Joker or he was the devil at some point. And sure enough, Twitter was right on it. And they brought all of that up. So, but
that in the boots.
Yeah,
his
the boots.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
His really expensive shoes that he wears. I'm like, damn it. And that's my little beef. Like, give him Uggs to wear out during that or something, or make sure he's really covered, or maybe not the devil persona mask.
Oh, no.
Maybe you could have spun it a different way, and then he comes out later in the show, takes it all off, and gives Punk the big FU. But
Yeah.
I'm not mad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at all.
See, I just love that this was another case of planting seeds several months ahead of time, whether they meant to or not. This was planting seeds in building up her long-term story, and the payoff was, I am the devil, and we'll get to that later on, but it was the little seeds planting in there that made it all the better. So
the match itself, I'm going to grade this two different ways.
Yeah.
Because there's a match and there's a moment.
Right.
The match itself, as you said, there wasn't a lot. I mean, there was some randomness. There were some ladders that got thrown in and everything. But essentially, it was just a normal ladder match to me.
Yep.
So, middle of the road match before the event happened.
Yes.
So, 3.5, because some of the spots were pretty fucking crazy. But the moment, because of what you said, Stokely Hathaway takes it off, and you're like, is he giving it to, are we getting a Morrissey push? Who else, no disrespect, we love Ethan Page. He's not giving it to one of the Guns. He's not, who else was in that? I don't even remember who's in that group, but I don't care.
Outside of that, yeah, I don't remember those three.
Like, Morrissey, I'm like, he's going to give it to Morrissey for a hot second. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then we get that devil. That was the surprise. That was the, holy fuck, if you knew it was him or not from the get-go, yes. So that's a, like, I marked, so it was a 5 moment.
I'm going to give the match a 3, because to your point, there were some crazy spots. It was all building up to the moment. The moment itself, I'm going to give 5.5. I loved everything about it. I loved the history behind it. So I gave it 5.5 for the moment. But yeah.
Next up is a trios match. It was all right. My favorite spot was head to the groins when Johnny ran through them for the quad super kick. The crowd was hot for this match. They really loved this match. And when you got the Hangman and Kenny stuff, it came into like the reverse show then. I love that. It was entertaining, edge of the seat the whole time. As you know, the Elite wins. You went the other way, didn't you?
I thought I went the Elite, didn't I?
No, you said I said I'm taking the Bucks. You said you went the under. So we weren't sure if it was going to be best friends by then or whatever.
Oh, gotcha. All right, I'll take that. So I lost it there, probably. But what I'll say, I was marking out when Johnny Hungy was getting shit over on Kenny Omega during this match. Like, I don't know what Hungy has on Omega at this point, or if they're just really fans of Johnny Hungy, but he was getting a lot of things in, and he was kicking out of a lot of things of Kenny Omega's stuff. And not everybody counters the one-winged angel.
Right.
So that was, to me, impressive in its own right. And I feel like we were going to get something at Arthur Ashe between those two. It just smelled like they were building up for maybe a one-off match with them. Like, Kenny Omega's like, I don't understand how he could do this or anything like that. So I feel like that was coming up, but those plans went out the window many moons ago, about 5 days ago. But I thoroughly enjoyed this match. But you're right, it was a typical trios match, and I liked it a lot. I loved that Silver got over. There was more to the story that was going to be told with Dark Order and Hangman Page, because Hangman was doing a lot to prevent them from hitting things, and there was a story there.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you bye. So,
what's your grade?
It was better than the ladder match aspects of it. I'm going to give it a 4. I feel like it deserves a 4 at that point. It had great spots in it. They did what they wanted to do, and they set up a lot of stories out of that. So
that are erased, but yes. We didn't know.
Neither here nor there. We're going to play dumb now.
Yeah,
they were still going.
We're 2 hours away or 3 hours away from what happened, so they didn't know. Yeah. Next matchup was, I stayed with a 4 with you, by the way, if you didn't hear. Was Jade against Athena. We both had Jade. I was more worried about if Layla Gray was going to live off of the shot that she took into the barrier. I did like the She-Hulk thing, though, too.
The She-Hulk thing was a nice touch. Layla Gray got fucked up during that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I would have ran like Kiera Hogan did. That purely. She-Hulk thing was a nice touch. I think better She-Hulk than what's going on right now. Better than the CGI shit that's going on right now with Marvel. So, but that we expected this. We kind of expected this, kind of didn't.
It was nothing special.
Nothing special. They were just off. A tidge off. I thought they were going to have better chemistry, but they were just a little bit off. But the question begs now, who's taking it off for Jade? Now Chris has had surgery. I saw Statlander had surgery this week, so apparently she was putting it off till this point. So now our theories of Statlander's coming back at Arthur Ashe and taking the title off of Jade is not happening whatsoever. So now the question is who can do it? Who's going to take it off Jade? And right now, there's not a goddamn woman on the planet or in AEW right now walking.
Let's talk about it when she gets close to 50, because I really think she's going to 50.
I think she is too. I think she gets over 50.
Yeah.
Because they're going to play the card. It's going to end up being the fastest woman to 50 wins.
Yeah.
Because they did it with Sheeta. Sheeta took some losses in that time. Maybe that's the 50th is Sheeta at that point. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that till I was talking about it. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there might be a scrum between her and Sheeta then.
Yeah.
Lose the first one, something happens. Sheeta then, because at one point we thought maybe Britt would drop down, or nope, that's not going to be it. I don't know. We're still, and I hate to say it, as much as Jade does wrestle, she's not on every show, she's not on every week. 50 is 6 months away, if not more.
Yeah.
So
at least, yeah.
Match itself, it was physical. I 2.5, 3.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Nothing past that.
FTR and Wardlow against the Machine Guns and Lethal. Damn. I thought we'd get a little bit more. I think we both wanted Wardlow against Lethal and maybe FTR against Machine Guns. We would have got. This wasn't super spectacular to me. And it hurts because 3 of your top guys were just in a trios match.
Yeah. I would agree. This was your run-of-the-mill trios match. It wasn't spectacular. I was expecting more. When you bring out the Motor City Machine Guns for a trios tag match, I'm expecting a lot more out of it. So maybe we'll get a payoff at Arthur Ashe between the two teams. Who knows? I think this match, unfortunately, played second fiddle to the event after the match. And that's what it was. It led up to Dax's daughter coming out and pinning Sanjay, which I'm perfectly fine with. That needed to happen anyways. So I just feel like this match was, let's get him on the card. Again, pains me, but it was get him on the card, and at least I'll get a win on the card. Yeah. That's where it was.
And it was. And you're right. The moment after is the story of this match. Old man, I know all three of us did cry. Tears were there when she came out at the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought that was it.
I thought so too. Yeah.
But then she comes out and she pins Sanjay and they started again. So I'm like, yeah, that. So that, in theory, gives it a 4 because you get the dad, the 4.5, 5. You know, anywhere, it wasn't a great match, but if we're going to go for the moment just for this match, because it really wasn't a match, so to speak.
Yeah.
I loved it, but it was a trios match.
Yeah, it was a trios match. Match itself, 3. The moment, 5. I think I put it up there with sympathy for the devil because it's a heartwarming thing. So.
Starks against Hobbs. I don't want Starks to be a generic AJ Styles.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like. He wore gloves the whole match. He had similar pants that AJ wears. I don't want that. I don't like the new look. And I'm shocked.
I am too.
I'm shocked they gave it to Hobbs.
We said, we were talking with Cody, and he goes, Hobbs is taking this. And both of us said, I would be absolutely shocked if Hobbs won this. 5 minutes later, because it wasn't a long match.
A spine buster, boom, done.
Boom, done. And I'm like, the fuck just happened to this match? And he's like, I told you. I go, I just don't know what the fuck just happened because is there something going on with Starks? Like, to your point, I don't get the whole new attire, like the gloves and all that stuff. It just needs to be Ricky Starks, how Ricky Starks was presented before. But, man, I was shocked by this ending.
Yeah.
And the fact that it wasn't really a match of any sorts. It wasn't like back and forth. Starks wasn't getting advantage that much. It just seemed like it was putting over Hobbs.
Hobbs and Wardlow, a nice little feud for that TNT title would be cool. I wouldn't mind that.
That could happen at Full Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then are you saying Starks has nothing to do?
I think Starks has nothing to do right now. Maybe the catapult was to get Hobbs to Full Gear. Okay, Hobbs is a legitimate contender now. He's going to go on a string of runs. He's going to challenge Wardlow for the TNT title. I don't know why I'm saying FTW, but he's going to challenge him for that title at Full Gear. We talked about Starks getting it at maybe Revolution or after that. Maybe that was the play here, was we're going to build up Hobbs to take the title shot at Full Gear, and then Starks goes after that. But I'm also going to say this. Don't be surprised if they give it to Hobbs at Full Gear and build up for Starks Hobbs too at Revolution or New Year's Slam.
Yeah. I was also thinking, we didn't know this then, but if this is just coming to my thought, there's somebody with 2 belts now. You could take one of the belts off of this person for Orange Cassidy, for Starks, for, somebody there in that all Mid-Atlantic 17 route, whatever the hell that one's called, can get more exposure. Because now that Pac has that, and the Lucius have that, maybe that's what they travel with.
Yeah. Everybody travels together, take that around, defend it. It makes most sense. And to your point, they were kicking off another OC Pac match at some point. So Arthur Ashe, maybe it's for the All-Atlantic title.
Yeah. And that's why, again, like a singles title and a trios match, I don't think you have way too many people on this roster, not enough people on this roster, but Pac's not working 2 matches. Like, both titles are not going to be defended.
No.
So you're going to get the Trios Championship or you're going to get the All-Atlantic Championship defended. So if you want them both defended, Pac's got to drop one of them.
Yep.
As of right now, with things that have happened, clearly the Death Triangle is the right place to go. And I know I'm skipping ahead a couple minutes before we get to Dynamite. But the Death Triangle probably is the right ones to have with those Trio Championships. And we'll get to what I mean on the way up to Buffalo. So, Swerve and Acclaimed, let's just fucking throw this out there. 6-spear match. Acclaimed should have won it then. I understand there's money in the chase. I thought we were going to get something in Buffalo. They're winning. I will bet the rest of this beer because I can't stay in my house or I'll be homeless if they lose. They get it at Arthur Ashe. This was unfucking believable. Jenks, this is a tag team match of the year. Right now, it is the tag team match of the year for me.
I can't argue with that. They fucking brought it. And let's go back.
By the way, you picked the claim and I said it wasn't time yet. I was that dick.
I was so close.
You're down 2.
Yeah, I'm already out. Don't worry about it. I gave up after the under for some reason. I don't know why I said under.
No six-pack for you.
No six-pack for me. But 6 months ago, did you think Acclaimed would have a 6-pack match rated by you that way?
Never. I'm yelling "Scissor me, Daddy" now.
I know. I'm walking around. I'm doing it to myself in the mirror. Scissor me, Daddy ass, and I'm just like, because it pops into it lives rent free in my mind right now. And let's give props here. Billy Gunn is fucking over for being Daddy ass.
Yeah.
Now, second time he's ever been over, and the first time was when he yelled "suck it." This is uncharted territory, I think, for Billy Gunn, at least.
Yeah.
But
the crowd was livid when they didn't win this.
I was livid when they didn't win this, and it wasn't for the 6-pack. I totally forgot I picked them for the 6-pack. I just wanted them to win. I was losing my shit through this entire match.
Yeah.
Like, I started the match laying down on the couch because I'm like, I'm going to get comfy, whatever. I rose up like The Undertaker about 10 minutes in, and I was all losing my shit throughout it. It was unbelievable.
Family sleeping by then at this residence, and you have 2 idiots just screaming on the couch at a TV. They come down and are like, we have to work in the morning. You have to work in the morning. Why don't you kind of calm down a little bit? I'm like, scissor me!
I've never been closer to buying a shirt that says "Scissor me, Daddy ass" than I was Sunday night at the end of that match.
That was a discussion on the way to Buffalo. I just wouldn't wear it anywhere but the house.
That's exactly it. That's where my head is. Where do you wear that?
Yeah.
Outside of the house. And
or to wrestling again.
Yes, agree. But even then, you're covering up until you get to the building at wrestling because you're not walking around the streets of Pittsburgh or Buffalo with a "Scissor me, Daddy ass" shirt because people are just going to look at you like you're fucking weird.
Right. And we're weird enough.
Yeah, we don't need the help putting that over, but
I did like the crowd turning Keith Lee's song into "Oh, scissor me, Daddy. Oh, scissor me, Dad." I'm like, oh my God. 2 different crowds for AEW this week, and Chicago stole it. So,
I got to give props though. Let's give props to Lee and Swerve. They knew their role. They transitioned to heel very quickly, and they played it to perfection, especially Swerve.
I know the money's in the chase. Do you hear that crowd going that apeshit crazy, and whoever is a producer of this match, do you tell the referee, we need to swerve this, and you need to give it to them right now?
If it was me, I'm sitting there saying, audible, do it.
Yeah.
But the same time, is that just a gut reaction to it? However, normally I would say that's a gut reaction to what's going on in one particular city. That doesn't necessarily translate to others. However, I will argue Acclaim's been over in every city they've gone to since then. So it wouldn't have been a bad audible to make.
Yep.
I understand where they went to, but I think the audible is happening in 2 weeks at Arthur Ashe. I don't think they were going to pull the trigger. I don't think they were going to have that match set up. Now that's happening. They have to now.
Yeah.
They're over. They're selling shit now, and they got to put them on him.
You know my rating. I already said it's my tag team match of the year, unless it happens better at Arthur Ashe. Just because they're going to win doesn't mean it's going to be a better match.
No,
this was a 12-pack, not even a 6-pack.
I agreed. If what I want to happen happens at Full Gear, I think it's a case, FTR Acclaimed would destroy the entire house.
We're not there yet, though.
We're not even there yet.
We're Arthur
But I'm
Ashe.
fantasy booking like they're going to give FTR a title shot, but we're going to Arthur Ashe. I'm taking that as a win, and I'm going to be on the edge of my seat during that entire thing. So
the winner, the women's interim title, the crowd wanted Hayter. I wanted Britt. Nobody cared that Sheeta was in the match, and I'm sorry, Sheeta, I do love you, but nobody cared that you were in the match. Tony had a couple friends. We knew where this was going. It was fun. It was a fun match. There were some things that I'm like, holy shit. But at least we're getting something for Britt and Hayter to do to lead into Tony running amok for a little bit. She got, Buffalo, a couple weeks down the line, she's going to get a couple wins. But this is leading up full-fledged to, I think, Tony Hayter.
I think it's going to end up being at Full Gear Tony Britt, because I think the writing's on the wall with Hayter and Britt right now. That's Rocky relationship. Maybe they mend fences, and then maybe at Full Gear they completely blow up at that point. And maybe to your point, that might be the best case scenario, because if Hayter's in the ring with Tony and Britt costs Hayter the match, it's going to completely go nuclear at that point between the two. So, in my opinion, I think we saw the writing on the wall for Tony to win this title. It wasn't a surprise to anybody. This is Tony's to lose, and I think she's keeping it until she gets back to Thunder, whenever Thunder gets back. If Thunder comes back, there's been rumors swirling with that, but some rumors, they've been dispelled. So we have to see how that whole situation plays out.
Yeah, that's actually one of the ones I want to talk about on the Tribe of the Buffalo, but you brought it up. Yeah, I posted it right off the bat, and I was talking to Nick about it, and he's like, why? And somewhere because she's not getting, and she doesn't get promo time. So I would be pissed too if I were her. She doesn't get a lot of promo time. Everybody else is. She's been called a slug or sandbag and this and all of that. I could see if she's mad. I really could. But on the other hand, step up a little bit. I love Thunder Rosa. New tattoo, by the way. I love Thunder. But Bailey loves Thunder.
Too.
Yeah.
Bailey loves her.
So I don't know if it was just Thunder saying she didn't want to lose to Tony. That happens.
It does, but unfortunately, what a terrible time to say that. But then you also lean into the aspects of, is she faking an injury? Because the writing was on the wall with Tony and her at All Out. I guess to me, I think she ends up, it's where we fall. Where does the actual cookie crumble here with this all? Where do all the dominoes fall at? Because they're going to have a match at some point, obviously.
They have to, right?
Yeah, it's interim versus world champion. So when that happens, I feel like Rosa is going to have to suck up her pride and lose to Tony, because I don't think she's beating Tony.
I don't either.
Because I think Tony Khan's sitting there like, we might just need to take the title off of you from this point forward, just to be safe.
I know, all these damn tattoos. And I'm getting the wrong ones.
They're falling off like left and right. But I think Tony Storm's going to have it for a while. And the whole thing with Thunder Rosa, whatever's real, whatever's not, I think right now we just go with, she has the injury. She's getting herself better. I'm still thinking New Year's Day, that's when this all comes to a head. But we'll see.
Yeah. Overall match for you?
I'm going to give it 3.5. It wasn't anything spectacular. It did what we expected, but it wasn't as bad as some of the stuff we had seen before it. So I'm going 3.5.
Yep. Agreed. Exactly. Christian Jungle Boy. Oh, man. It wasn't a match.
No.
I can't call it a match. I can't call it anything like that. It was what we kind of expected. We thought exactly that Lucha was going to come out, turn on him. We both said Christian, so that's another knock for both of us. As I look ahead, yes, Jinx lost by 2 because we're solid the rest of the way out. So I won't bring those up anymore. So you are still down at the bottom of the barrel for the 6-pack.
That's fine.
Okay. Salt, buddy. It's exactly what we thought. I love that mom and sister were there again.
Yeah.
And then, holy fuck, on the grate. On the grate. We lose Jungle Boy. He's gone. We're only getting Jack Perry when he comes back.
Agreed. Well, I mean, how are you going to get Jungle Boy back when Luchasaurus is completely turned on him? There's no Jurassic Express anymore. This is Jack Perry, which is what he needed. He needed for him to go forward as a pillar, to go forward as a main contender. He had to be Jack Perry going forward, which is fantastic. The downside of this all is we're not getting a payoff on any of this for at least 9 months until Christian is done getting his surgery.
Yeah.
Because that's the only reason this match went down the way it did.
Yep.
So that sucks. Now, I guess you could go Jack Perry, Luchasaurus in the meantime.
That's not going to carry for 9 months, though.
It's not. So what's the in-between here? Is it we're going to take Jack out for 5 to 6? Do Luchasaurus after that? You can't keep Luchasaurus off for 5 to 6 months. You have to keep him going and then have Jack Perry come out and wrestle him. I'm thinking Full Gear, they're going to have one match. Maybe they'll have a blow-off at Revolution or something like that. But we've lost Christian for a time frame, so you have to readjust everything you were thinking. And you can't just bring Jack Perry back in to wrestle anybody at this point.
Bob Smith
or, some guy on Dark. He legit has to only face Luchasaurus or Christian, and Christian's out. So it's got to be Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we do this now, as we're doing the recap after the scrum, you're like, holy shit, if they knew. I know you don't know about the scrum, but if they knew the scrum, what would have, this whole card, if the scrum happened Friday night on Rampage, this card would have changed in 2 days to something completely different. The outcomes, and people just shifted around. AEW is almost restarting again.
It has to reset the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not even just the you can't even say just the matches that you could pull out. Dark Order gets the titles instead of, the Elite. And, as you go down Moxley gets the world title or anything like that. You can't do that because every single match and every single storyline thread you had going has been ripped and cut. It's been pulled because you have to retie everything back together. And not even the scrum, too, but just the injuries that were occurring before that. If we take the scrum out of this and the scrum never happens, Punk's down for 9 months, let's say 9 months, with whatever injury he has. Christian's out 6 to 9 months with his injury.
Rose is out.
You're pulling things left and right. To your point, you're resetting everything.
Yeah.
Come all out. So.
And that's why, you guys, I know we haven't talked about Dynamite yet. We're getting there. Take a shot. I think that's why it was very ROH heavy this week with everything. Danielson against Jericho. This fucking entrance. And I don't even want to talk about this match. This fucking entrance for Brian Danielson, the American Dragon, the Red Dragon, whatever we're calling him right now because I'm so heated again, was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I could watch a middle school production of the Titanic in a sandbox better than this idiot singing Brian Danielson's song. Why the fuck do you mess with his song is one of the most iconic songs now out there, modern day, right now happening. Why do you mess with it? How much did you pay the schload to come in and ruin it?
I didn't even know, first of all, there was words to this song, to be honest.
I didn't either.
Maybe I don't pay attention to it at all. Second of all, I don't know who this guy was, but he was just terrible in his own right.
Yeah.
I hated it. Absolutely. Like, that was just bad. I agree with you. I mean, this was just horrible. Horrible entrance.
Before we get to the match, which I love the match. I really did. The two performers, athletes, talent in the match were awesome. JR ruined this match as well. He slowed down during this match, and like everybody else, Excalibur and Tony and anybody that was there had to wait for him to get his words in. Fuck! Stop!
At this point, you know, I love the memory of JR in that, but he's got to stop. I think that's why we're seeing him only on half the card now for everything. It's starting to get to a point where we got to go full Taz, Excalibur, Tony Schiavone. They can make it happen. They can move the match. They move with the match at a pace style, and they stay with it. JR, man, he took the wind out of this a lot.
And it was a great match.
It was.
It was
a great match.
If you watch it on mute or do the play-by-play yourself, it makes it better. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still surprised Bryan Danielson lost. That threw me for a loop. I thought, all right, he's getting his comeuppance. He's going to beat Jericho here. No.
Well, more to come on that.
Well, more to come on that, but at the same time, I'm like, holy shit, I thought he was going to win that. But
yeah. I don't know if they knew, they didn't know by now or anything, but maybe there was a part 2 to come, and they just made it into the tournament. But yeah. Next matchup, House of Black, Darby, Sting, and Miro. I was excited about this until Friday when Malachi asked for his release.
Yeah. That kind of took it away from it because you knew the end. You knew what was going to happen. It kind of took the wind out of the sails. This became a bathroom break match, which is disappointing.
Yeah. It really did. I did.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because it was just...
The talent was there, but it was a 2 because and you could see it in the ring. It was not, everybody was not putting on their best effort forward.
No.
We've had bangers with Darby and freaking Brody King. The coffin match was a lot better than a lot of people thought. It was brilliant storytelling, but this was deflated. It just didn't have that oomph to it that I think it could have had. You can't blame Sting. You can't blame Miro for bringing it down. There was a cloud overhead.
Yep.
And why put the effort in if that cloud's going to walk away? Yep. So I'm agreeing.
And I hope Malachi goes and gets help.
Yep.
And
agreed.
I hope he doesn't go to WWE if this whole release thing is whatever, and I hope he comes back. This is built for him. I think if he didn't get his release, you would see him on Wednesday then in the tournament instead of Best Friends or the Dark Death Triangle.
Yeah.
I think they would have been thrown into it, but I don't know. All right, main event time. Punk and Mox. I thought this was going to be quick at first, and I'm trying not to bring the scrum into this. I'm going to look at it as the match. I thought this was going to be a quick match for Punk.
Yeah.
And it would reset up part 3 then at Arthur Ashe to have the trilogy. And I'm like, I understand the story. Boom, boom, boom. And it didn't. And then there's instantly blood. And then we had a feeling that we're in Chicago. Punk's going to win. Like, we all pick Punk. Everybody in Chicago. Punk. I didn't think it was going to be this crazy. Like, I loved the match. It
was insane. After the initial fast Punk attacks, the GTS early, but then the 2 count, and then when Mox started getting that mojo back, my God in heaven, it was like a tornado. They were going fast and hard on this thing. So, I had so many jumps.
The taste is there, though, right? Because now
Yeah.
you know. The taste is in your mouth. Can you rank it that high now? I can't.
I can't either because I know what happens 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. But this is another match that can be separate. Now, objectively, scrum doesn't happen. I'd still do this, but I'd split it between the match and the moment that comes after the match. And they'd still be kind of equal.
Yeah.
I think they'd both be at least a 5.
5.5, 5. Yeah.
5, yeah, in that area. Everything afterwards that kind of gets you. Match is 4 because it's good match. It's a great match, but shouldn't have happened.
Right.
But
it also takes away from that moment.
It does take away from that moment.
More so than the match, I think.
Yes, because it damages what was going to be built at that point in time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So if anybody is true, there's two people really hurting this. Moxley and MJF.
Yep. And
physically, Punk is hurt, yes. But for money and storylines, Mox and MJF are both screwed out of this.
Yeah.
Because what happened an hour and a half later.
Exactly. And unfortunately, it feels like that was the plan.
Yeah. To wrap back around to what we talked about in segment 1.
Yeah.
All right. As a whole, what do you give this pay-per-view?
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 6 without taking the scrum into account. If I take the scrum into account, it's a 2.53.
2.53.
Yeah. But
why 5.3?
No, 2.5 or 3.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, not that specific, but objectively 4. Here's why. It was not my favorite pay-per-view. It had great match. It had the Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory. That was great. Obviously, Jericho, Danielson, Punk and Moxley was great.
MJF returning.
MJF returning. But a lot of the other matches on the card just didn't do it for me. They fell flat.
I'm going to go 4.5, not taking the scrum in.
Okay.
Because Punk won in his hometown, all of that. MJF returned. The Acclaim match probably brought it up more because it wasn't a great all-out. I think these were a lot of Dynamite main events, essentially. Too many trios fucking going at it.
Yeah.
Kind of was like, take the scrum in. I'm there with you. A 2.5. I don't know if I could even give it up to the 3. I think it's a 2.5. Like, this is, they might have made over $1 million in box office. But you damage your product after. Not you. Somebody did. But you're taking the fall.
Yeah. And that was pretty much what the intent was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Fucking Bailey agrees. All right, when we come back, we'll get to Castle Grayskull to wrap the show up. Oh, wait, we didn't talk about Dynamite. We don't have to cover Dynamite majorly in depth because we're probably going to run long.
Yeah.
So let's stay with Dynamite real quick. I didn't take notes, by the way, because I was there.
You didn't while you were there? That's insane.
I did rewatch it. I don't know why I didn't take notes since I rewatched it to see if I was on there. Let me first...
What?
Everybody probably loves us right now. They'll still love you after I get done saying this. Buffalo is not a wrestling town. Buffalo, besides the first two, I'm talking about just Dynamite, because Rampage, a lot of people left, by the way, before Rampage was taped. in Dark Elevation, a lot of people only came in after it. So Buffalo, not a wrestling town. Excited for MJF, excited for Mox, and then the trios match, which crowned Death Triangle as the new trios champion.
Yep.
After that, a lot of people, you watch Dynamite every week. Everybody stands. There was people bitching about people standing. That's not AEW. You fucking stand.
Yeah.
It just, I think Buffalo fell flat. They were excited about Daniel Garcia. It was, maybe they gave us too much in the first legit 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everybody was still on that, oh my God, high, this, that, and the other thing. But in the middle of the card, when there was some still good matches going on and some promos and everything, even Joe's little quick promo was cool. It was fine. Maybe that's on Rampage tonight. That's why. I bet you that's on.
You're ruining shit for us.
Or last night as you're listening to this. But little things that you should have been excited for. Buffalo cared about two things. Let's go Buffalo, to get that fucking chant in, and then the song that they the other song that they do. Yeah. The chant about the Bills and let's go Buffalo. They tried every match. Dude, you're there for a wrestling event. So, if we have fans in Buffalo, I apologize. You're not a wrestling city. And I understand why they did Buffalo. Because they're from Buffalo to Albany to Arthur Ashe. They're in New York. Every place is 3 hours away from each other. Cool. It's awesome. You're running the territory thing. I love it. It's smart. Keep everybody there. Sammy fucking Guevara and Ty Mello were at Niagara Falls today.
Yeah.
Cool. You're giving them breaks and they don't have to travel. I understand that. Maybe off of a big pay-per-view and some things that you didn't know this, but you knew it was a big pay-per-view. You don't pick Buffalo. Buffalo is a builder city.
Yeah.
Where you can take that break from releasing new storylines to setting it to the the kickoff. What do we call it? The go home show.
So yeah, the go home show. I think I know WWE learned that lesson probably in 2012, 2013, when they did the old school Raw, and it was completely dead in that town. They even brought out Jake the Snake for the first time in 10 years at that point, and nobody made a peep.
Yeah.
Nobody made a sound. So WWE learned that the hard way. Buffalo, there's nothing wrong with that. You can be your casual fan base, that's fine. But man, you don't need to chant your town name every single time.
They weren't really excited. I mean, Bryan Danielson and Hangman's match was awesome.
Yeah.
What we saw last night between, and I'm saying it to Jenks, he hasn't watched it yet.
Right.
What you see from Claudio and Dax, unbelievable. Sammy and
Sarby.
It's the same person, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like J-Lo and Jennifer. Yeah.
Darby and Sammy, great way to kick off Rampage. They just, those are pay-per-view matches.
And
people were down. People were sitting. People were making sure that that Josh Allen plays tomorrow as you're listening to this.
Well,
no, he played Thursday. Never mind.
He played Thursday, but they were talking it up because, well, that's the thing. They had a hangover from MJF wearing Josh Allen jersey out to the ring and then ripping it off.
By the way, we don't have to break down everything. You can talk about whatever you want to. I was hook, line, and sinker. MJF got me. He got me. I'm like, this motherfucker, because of the scrum, has now instantly become face, and it works. It would have worked. And then he just shits on everybody. I'm like, I'm such a mark. So
here's the thing. I was getting pissed because he was a face. I was actually sitting there what the fuck is this? I want MJF shitting on this. What's going on? What the fuck? And then when he started turning on everybody, I'm like, oh, thank God. Because
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just did not want him as a babyface at that point.
I agree.
But, oh my God. He came out in the Josh Allen jersey. He was talking it up. I'm like, this can't be real. This is like some bizarro world. We're in Toronto, Canada, and it's bizarro world. Everybody's rooting for anybody else. Thank God. But, again, MJF proving he can hook, line, and sinker you and make you believe whatever he wants you to believe.
And he did.
In that time, yeah.
And he did. The other big thing that everybody was pissed off about, of course, when you heard, listen! And then we didn't get anything.
I was pissed.
Yeah!
You were pissed. I was pissed. Buffalo was actually pissed. They paid attention at that point. But as soon as it happened, I'm like, Tony Khan is the smartest motherfucker in the world because he was strategic Wednesday night. His deliverance of vacating everything, taped. MJF, you could call it neutered him for the first half of it. Got to play babyface, and then you can turn into heel and talk your WWE shtick. Acclaimed, he knew Max Caster was sitting there for 3 days writing every line, every bar he could think of for that scrum.
Yep.
And he said, I'm sending Swerve out
yep.
to cut it at its heels. So Tony Khan played that amazingly well to avoid drawing more attention to the situation, and I was fucking livid about it.
And I looked at it that way too. I said when Tony came on, and I'm glad we're not getting an interim champion. Just give it to it's the real champion. The bracket. Let's talk about the. Are you happy with the bracket? Are you like no knock? Darby and Sammy. Yeah, I would have put Brody. Somebody like they're both in Mox's side too.
Yeah, the Mox is getting to the finals. To be honest, the only side that was up for debate was Jericho's side.
Yeah.
Because you had Bryan Danielson, you had Paige. Who's going to take that? Like, I could have seen it go either way. I think Paige lost, obviously, because of the scrum thing.
Right.
So now you're setting up Jericho Danielson, too. Is Jericho winning again, or is Danielson taking it? You know, what is the play there? So we're going to have an all Blackpool Combat Club thing, or are we getting a Jericho in there? But I think it plays into also the fact of, is Mox going to be a 3-time champion by the end of this? Or is it going to one of the other two? Where's the storylines at? Because the winner faces MJF to drop the title. And there's only one they've set up so far.
Does he? He can turn this chip in any fucking time you want. By the way, I did that with what MJF did. You can't see it, but Jenks did. Whoever it is, I truly think it's going to be Danielson and Mox, and they're going to beat the piss out of each other. And then he's going to strut down, a la Seth Rollins, cash it in, and steal it.
I could see that. That's what I thought was going to happen Sunday after the match. I thought he was going
I did too.
Strut into the ring, take the title at that point. But you're right. It could be. He keeps reiterating, it's any time I want. So.
But let me stir the pot. After Mox, who is now the face, as much as everybody loves MJF and Jericho, and I now think of, because Cody's gone, Omega and those guys or whatever, Mox is your face of AEW.
Yeah.
You don't call him from vacation, and he made a point to tell you to put these words out and to say what he said, that powerful about, yes, he rolled it into himself about being a legend and stuff too, but you listen, there's shots in that promo that he had.
Yeah.
He is the banner of AEW now.
Yeah.
So 3 times Mox isn't bad.
It's not.
But it's going to be 2.5 because MJF's getting it soon.
Yeah, that's why when you said MJF cashing in at Arthur Ashe, I think that makes the most sense because it keeps Mox chasing it through Full Gear.
Yes.
So now you can set up the Full Gear chase for it. Maybe Danielson comes after that to reestablish. it's the line of succession here. You look at this tournament, maybe outside of Sammy and Darby, the 4 individuals between Jericho, Mox, Page, and Danielson, pretty much I think are your next 4 opponents for MJF when he becomes champion.
Yeah. And,
So,
it makes sense.
Exactly.
It makes sense. Nothing against Sammy and Darby. I just think they were there, I think. They are, well, we both called them pillars, I think, at one point. That they're both,
we did.
So they're not going to fuck with the company. We're going to reward them and put them in this tournament. Mm-hmm. We're going to put them on Mox's side, though. So it doesn't matter if they're in it or not.
Exactly. And so, to that point, I don't know who won tonight or tomorrow or last night because I'm not watching until tonight, whatever the fucking thing is.
Do you want me to tell you?
No, I don't want to know because you're going to spoil it for everybody. I have to watch.
Everybody's only listening tomorrow morning.
That's true, but I don't want to be spoiled here. So it leaves a lot of questions in my mind of the match we're going to get next time with Mox. I don't know which one I want to see more because I know him and Darby have already faced, and I don't remember him and Sammy ever facing. So I don't know if I want that match or not. I'm going to be intrigued tonight, tomorrow, next 5, whatever the hell quantum leap we're doing here is in the next 2 hours after recording. I'm going to be interested to see how that match breaks down.
By the way, I don't know if they played it just for us or if it was actually recorded and then thrown on for you guys to watch. You know that Jericho gave the finish of the match away when him and Sammy were talking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we saw it.
Okay.
Because Cody texted me immediately after, and I was actually going to text him and you, and I go, "Did Jericho just give away the finish of that match?"
Yep.
You don't just drop, Brian and I next week or whatever, however the hell he said that. And I'm like, is that the end of the match? What are you doing, Jericho?
Yeah.
You can't be like promoting that way.
Well,
but done.
I think Sammy caught on because Sammy's like, "Look at your abs!"
Yeah, because he was trying to distract from the situation.
All in all, I had a blast going to Dynamite. Buffalo is not it for a Dynamite, so now I have to go to Pittsburgh or Cleveland when it's around. I did get to see, this is going to be a spoiler for Dark Elevation on Monday. Julia Hart is on the show, and the other 2 members of the House of Black. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I was, Julia had to pull double duty for Elevation.
Very nice.
Excited to see Julia. But watch Dark Elevation. There's some good stuff. There's a lot of quick stuff on Dark Elevation. A lot. I'm telling you, they started right at 7 o'clock, and by quarter after, there was like 3 matches. Dunzo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Squash. All right. Now we'll get to Castle Grayskull. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll tell you about that. But, guys, I have to tell you about, everybody's asked before where I get my tattoos from. Everybody's kind of pits and putters around about, let's just talk about your tattoos. Or I got a freaking email one time. Where do you get your tattoos? It's called Ink Excess Tattoo Studio. It's in DuBois, Pennsylvania, guys. All of them are awesome. Will's the owner. My artist essentially is Lauren, but Jackie has put one thing on me as well. But if you're looking for some great tattoos and you're in and around like our neck of the woods, or if you want to travel from wherever you are, check them out. They're on Facebook, Ink Excess Tattoo Studio, or give them a phone call if you're really into it for getting a tattoo set up. It's 814-503-4168. You won't be disappointed. They're awesome. There's Mindy, Lauren, Jackie, Tony, Will, are all there. They do tattoos. And then Kendra, if you have a tattoo from someplace else, they started laser removal as well. So
nice. Make
sure you check them out, and make sure you tell them Can Crusher sent you, or Mark, or Jenks, or just make sure you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
Drop the names.
Yeah, drop the names. So, Ink Excess Tattoo Studio in DuBois. All right, now a break, and then Castle Grayskull, which will probably be quick.
I'm Highlander Mike McGowan, and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to Can Crushers Podcast. where the cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah. Dig it.
Wow, I like that one. Yeah. It's kind of time for Clash at the Castle. That'll be the last time we probably call it that. And I just want to put this out because she has been working with us to figure this out, but schedules were just absolutely crazy. I think we're going to have Ringside Rain as a WWE correspondent on pay-per-views with us, but it was a holiday Monday, so we couldn't do it then. A rough day at work. Schedule's just kerfuffled again. But when we do pay-per-views, or Bailey is going to be there.
Bailey's.
Ringside Rain is going to come in and kind of chat with us, see if she can maybe tone us down on hating on WWE.
I feel like we're recovering
We are.
a little bit. I'm going to say this. With Daddy H in control, I feel like we're going to get better. We are going to get better. Although I talked to Mark during the break, and obviously he's already got a kerfuffle that he wants to address here at some point. But we'll get through Castle Grayskull first.
Yeah, I only have one thing on Raw I want to talk about, and we'll end the show with that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But, all right, Castle Grayskull. Overall, mid to mid upper. Not a show stealer for me.
It was better than I thought it was going to be. I'm going mid upper because I think it was a lot better. There was some bangers on this card, and there's a lot of great matches on this card. So they did a lot better than I thought was going to happen.
But still predictable is why. It's still why I maybe only gave it a mid upper. So, all right. Starts off with the, holy Christ, I just realized this. Can we stop in the last couple of weeks with trios stuff? My God, I just realized that. I don't want to see another trios match for 6 months, but that's not going to happen in AEW anymore.
I was going to say, because you probably got one coming up with Imperium versus, spoilers, Imperium versus the Booster Buddies or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Bailey, they're called Damage Control now. I finally saw that.
I did see that. Trademark infringement on my 2007 faction, but whatever.
Yeah.
We won't go there.
Bailey, Dakota, and Io against Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka. And thank God, spoiler right now, Bailey gets the win over Bianca. And it is definitely the right thing to do because Bianca was, even as champ, sitting nowhere with nothing coming up to do. Your two best friends are probably your two biggest opponents. You're not turning them that quick.
No.
So Bailey gets the win. She can run with this mouthpiece and tell the story, which Bailey is known for. Telling the story over and over that she beat Bianca. Fuck the other 4 people that were in the match. This was about Bailey and Bianca. And I liked it.
I did too. I also loved the ending of it where it was Damage Control that layered their finishers on top of Bailey, or not on top of Bailey, but on top of Bianca to beat her at the end. It was a decisive victory. It wasn't a cheap roll-up. It wasn't any of that things. Wasn't what happened in the tag team tournament. It was a decisive victory for Bailey. I love that clean victory. I thought that was well done, and I'm excited like you are. It was a clean victory. Bailey took it. Now we have a talking point till the next pay-per-view. Bailey's going to be talking this up for at least the next 8 weeks.
By the time we get to the pay-per-view, do Dakota and Io have the tag titles?
Yes.
Yeah. I would think this coming Monday.
I would agree. It doesn't get past Monday.
Yeah.
I think Raquel and Aaliyah were named the inaugural ones, which is fine. This is now Dakota and Io's time, and they're going to run with the tag titles.
And I think this is going to be a faction that runs for a while and causes some issues. I know we were talking about when Sasha and Naomi come back. We don't know now, honestly, because that came out. Like, Sasha was only in talks about coming back. Sasha doesn't, we've said this a million times too, Sasha doesn't need to come back. She's got Hollywood knocking at the door.
Yeah, and I just saw today that her and Naomi were doing New York Fashion Week this week. So they're totally ingrained with outside projects that they're doing outside of the company, obviously, because I said that. But it's happening. They don't need it. They need nothing to do it. If they come back, I don't expect it to be till the new year or after that. It's going to be a bigger return type thing at that point.
Mania.
It's going to be the night after Mania. It's going to be one of those things, and it's going to bring that back up. So expect that. To me, I would expect Io and Dakota, when they win the title, I'll guarantee it now, when they win the title Monday, they carry those titles until after at least Mania for that blow off.
Yeah. And I think it's the right thing to do to have somebody carry them then that long, to put some clout back on these titles instead of changing them every 3 weeks between Lana and you and me and the next door neighbor and just not making them worth a damn. And then you get that strong ass women's faction of Damage Control running amok, a la the Shield.
Yeah. The key here is, though, they have to defend the titles.
I agree.
If you put them on there and only defend them 1 to 2 times over that span, you're going to be in the same predicament. It's going to destroy the title prestige that you're trying to build back up. Have them defend them. I get it. There's not a lot of strong teams right now out there. I think there's going to be a little bit of a feud between Asuka and Bliss right now, maybe their front team. But you got to start building up teams to take them on to get them to that point after Mania. So,
agreed. Side note, man, Asuka needs to turn bad again. Like, her dancing and goofing around is not working. I love everything she does in the ring. She's an amazing talent. I can't stand her as goofy Asuka.
I need badass Asuka. I need badass Asuka. You can still have that charisma that you have now, but just be a badass about it. And NXT Asuka, let's bring her back. Let's have her run the table.
And Bliss, on that side note, you notice she didn't have the doll.
She didn't.
So
which is surprising.
Are we finally getting that away too, and we're going to get Goddess or Spirit Heart Bliss or whatever the hell she was, kind of when she first came up?
Yeah.
We need to, because still carrying that doll around is referenced in my head to Bray. He ain't there, as they say back in the old days. He ain't there. Let's move along.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So it looks like they changed up her music a little bit. So I think they might be stepping away from it. And let's be honest, she only carried the doll around when she came back for a marketing ploy to sell them. Get rid of the stash that they had built up. So I think they're moving away from it. Or maybe the doll just didn't make it through customs. Who knows? Could have got arrested and detained. Trying to get into Wales.
Like the Usos.
Like the
Not allowed outside the United States.
Uh-huh.
Not allowed. We'll get to that, though. Overall, though, I liked this match, and I liked it for storyline purposes. The match was good, but for storyline purposes, this was a 4. The next match steals the show for me.
The next match is getting a 6-pack. Spoiler.
Yeah.
It's just happening. There's nothing. I'm moving right on. I'm going to say the storyline. I'm going to say for storyline, I agree with you. 4 is perfect for it. Moving along, Sheamus and Gunther tore the fucking house down, stole the show. There was nothing that was comparing to them two going at it.
Yeah. We talked about Kingston and Ishii doing chops and everything. Well, this was like a forearm battle or just a fucking brawl. I loved, though, how they gave both of them their comeuppance at the end. Like, Gunther gets the win. He leaves. Everybody's excited for him. He's out the door. Gone. History. And then they give it back to Sheamus. I'm telling you, I've always waved Sheamus's flag. After this, don't you think he deserves another sniff at the title?
He deserves a run, and I think they're in a position where they have to give him one. There's nobody else to challenge Roman right now.
Yeah.
So
Spoiler on that whole thing.
spoiler,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, spoiler on that one, but there's no one else to challenge him. So I think Sheamus is going to get a sniff at some point. Sheamus is getting up there in age. He's surprisingly mid-40s right now. This might be the final run for Sheamus, which is weird because he's in great shape and all that, but he might be sitting there saying, man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if he can go and keep having chop fest with freaking Gunther every week. But again, this is proving Sheamus is an underrated talent.
Yeah.
I know there's people, and I'll call out Hat-Trick right now, who hate Sheamus or have despised Sheamus's work. He's underrated. He can carry himself in matches. And sometimes, yeah, his matches can be a bit slow in that, but he can definitely step it up when he needs to. And he did that for Gunther here. And he put Gunther over and really put him in a better position.
He really did. And yes, Imperium is back together, but this was all about Sheamus just giving it to Gunther. I'm glad you said that because I was going to say that. This was awesome. Watch it again, folks. Next matchup was Baszler against Morgan. This is where you won for the night. By the way, yeah, you should have picked this six-pack challenge.
Should have. Oh, well.
I thought it was going to be Baszler. Same things we kind of said last week. Like, Baszler would have gotten a pop there, would have whatever, and then you get it off of Morgan until she gets that WrestleMania moment because you always get that one quick title run or whatever. I don't know what this did for Liv getting the win. Does it solidify anything? Or it was like, nah, we didn't have anybody else for you, so we're going to give you Shayna.
So to me, it did two things. It finally put Shayna back in the spotlight where she needed to be. She should be a legitimate contender. But two, to your point, it doesn't do anything for Liv because I think it's just prolonging the title reign to whatever happens at the season premiere of SmackDown. Whether it's Ronda or Charlotte, there's a fatal five-way tonight to determine the next challenger, and Ronda's involved. Is that where Ronda gets crowned the next
Number
challenger? One. Probably. So I think time's ticking here for Liv, and it's going to be within the month.
Yeah,
I think it just extended the title reign for her to get to that point.
I will say, man, Liv is probably one of the best sellers. Like, she takes an ass kicking. And she's the underdog champion. She is. She takes an ass kicking and she finds just a way to win. It's what she did. That was her MO of this title reign.
Yep.
Match wise though, for me, I don't know. Middle of the pack, 2, 3.
I'm going 2.5, 3. Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Edge and Ray against Finn and Priest. Edge with the mask looks stupid.
Did not look good at all. Look weird.
Again, this was predictable. I don't want to say the match was horrible, but this was where it was going to happen.
Yeah, I wish that the aftermath happened during the match at some point.
Yeah, not after the match.
Yeah. Don't just give Edge and Ray a win. Let them lose because of the turn from Dominic.
Because Judgment Day looks weak again.
They do look weak again. And now you had to reset it on Monday so they look strong, but only because they were so taken back because of Dominic being involved in the group. That is the only reason why they look strong. You take that element out, they don't look strong. Also, this is not related to the match, but kind of is related to the match. I've officially gone to the camp of Rhea's leading this group without officially being named the leader of this group.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because she is the only dominant member of this group. She has converted and recruited another member for Dominic's sake, if you will.
Who hasn't had a match in 6 months now either, though.
Exactly. So she is now the official leader of Judgment Day, whether WWE tells me that or not. And I like that, but you have to build this team up to win and do things that actually make them look like a legit threat. They're treading water.
Well, the only one getting wins for the foreseeable future is going to be Dom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dom takes on Edge Monday.
Yeah.
Spoiler, that match isn't going to have a winner.
Probably not. No. There's no way Edge is losing to Dominic on a random Monday night.
Right.
If he was going to lose to him at all.
Right. When are we setting up for Ray and Dom? It's got to be a couple months away, because as much as, you hate your son for turning, Ray doesn't want to put his hands on him, there's got to be 2-3 weeks of banter before he pushes his dad down, and then his dad's going to have to go through everybody before he gets to Dom again.
I'm going to say they're pulling Undertaker and Kane on this. This is getting stretched out to Mania with these two. Because Ray
Holy
is...
fuck, I couldn't...
But here's the thing. Ray is going to play the card that Undertaker played during that time. I'm not going to fight my son. I refuse to fight my son. No matter what he does to me, I'm not going to fight my son. What's going to happen? There's going to be something that pushes him over the edge. Pun intended, I guess. But I don't think it happens until the new year. It was the same thing with Undertaker and Kane. He wasn't going to fight his brother. He denied it for weeks and months upon months. After he came into the company in October of 97, it finally came to a head and he finally faced him at Mania in 98. I think we're seeing that happen here because I think Ray's last match is at Mania in 2023. I really do. We talked about this already, and it feels that way. And to have it at a pay-per-view that they've taken all the luster out of at Survivor Series or one of these one-offs, I just don't see it. I think the only match between the two is at Mania.
Yeah, because we have to have the family come back, too. Aaliyah, is it Leah? Aaliyah? Or
Aaliyah.
The hot sister and the mom have to come back.
Well, and that's true, and maybe that's where the push over the edge happens, is maybe he pushes down his mother or pushes down his sister, attacks the family in some way to push Ray over the edge and said, if you're going to take it out on them, I'm coming for you. That type of thing. But I don't think that happens until we get to February.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're nowhere near that. I think that gets drawn out till at least February.
Because Ray is he's not even mad at him right now. He is, you flunked that test.
He's confused.
Try better.
Yeah.
When you flunk in 9 weeks, come on, dude. Maybe, I'm putting it in because grades have come out for Ethan.
Yeah.
Not that Ethan's failing, but I'm just saying, this is Dad talking. Oh, you flunked this? I'm disappointed. We are not even disappointed yet.
And we're at least 3 months from disappointed.
We are. Then you have to get mad and, pretend to fight them, but then your emotions come right back. There's a long emotions of dads that we just take a lot, and then it over the edge.
You know when that I'm going to fight you but not fight you happens?
When he's drunk. Oh.
Maybe. Maybe. But it's going to happen in the Royal Rumble match at the Rumble.
And then he throws his dad out.
He throws his dad out and it's done. And then we see the slow progression, and that's when the family comes in, and then that blows up, and then we have 6 weeks of that build going on. So.
Yeah. Rollins and Riddle. The crowd loves Riddle. Crazy match. I just thought it was a good Raw main event. I really didn't care about this match.
I'm going to be honest. Until the main event, I kind of went into a slump with these matches. Riddle and Rollins was good. I just wanted more out of it. I think more aggression in that. Riddle came down to the ring dancing. You're supposed to hate this guy.
Yeah.
Especially after everything he said on Monday. Why? I'd be coming down pissed, not dancing, not doing anything. I'd be just trying to jump him. So to me, the logic wasn't there to kind of spark this match. Then we saw it a little more hatred in the match, but it didn't really fully come out. And then Rollins gets the victory. So to me, I think they fell flat in getting us to the mid-match or to the middle of the match, telling that story there.
Riddle needs a spark. He needs to be more vicious, as you said.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of baggage right now, though. Are we going to see Riddle not for a while?
Maybe.
he's got a lot of baggage and the social media and other things going on in his life. Yeah. If you don't know, look it up. I don't even want to say it because it's whatever. You're a fucking dick. Another reason why I don't like Riddle, and I've always not liked Riddle.
Agreed. Completely agree. So I think at the end of the day, we're going to see a more serious Riddle out of this. And I think this leads to a Riddle RKO, Riddle Orton match at Mania, because he's going to be a lot more serious than he was the Randy type of character. Randy.
Then we get to Roman and Drew. Holy shit. First off, they brought a lot of star power. You get Cross there, causing some issues. Man, did we need Tyson Fury?
No, but I appreciated his efforts knocking out Theory, though. I thought that was good. And maybe his vocal talents at the end that we can get to, but...
We're going to. I didn't think this was going to be a Theory run-in match.
I didn't think so either. But again, I guess it makes sense. They had built it up with so much intensity that the opportunity... I think we're going to see this. Theory's just going to pop up in title matches wherever he thinks he can.
And people are going to get Kate his ass kicked.
Exactly. Somebody's going to take him out when he tries to do it. Don't.
So that's going to be like the Where's Waldo thing. Who's going to punch him?
Who's going to knock him out? Who's going to take him out? Unfortunately, it's not going to be Pat McAfee anymore for at least till Rumble, I think. But, yeah.
All in all, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't. I enjoyed it. I was shocked they didn't pull the trigger for Drew and then maybe say Paul comes out Monday night or even tonight if he's on and say, oh, you really didn't read the whole contract. You only won the Raw one. Like, I really thought there was going to be a split there or whatever. We joked about the Usos not being able to be there. So we get Baby Uso.
Yeah, we do.
This was cool, though. This was cool. Now all storylines from here on out only lead to WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's the only...
Roman might only have one more match between now and WrestleMania. Honestly.
And to be honest, it's at the Rumble. I don't think he has another one this year.
Or you're going to get it the whole bloodline against Sammy, KO, Drew, and me or you or somebody at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
This title is only getting defended one more time, and it's going to be at Rumble, I think.
Agreed. I completely agree with that. I do think, the Sammy thing, it's happening in the next couple weeks, and it's going to be because they've added Baby Uso to this.
Yep.
You don't add Baby Uso unless you're going to cut one out. This is 4-man faction, and you stick with the bloodline. So Sammy's getting a short straw here, but it plays into what we talked about already with some of that storyline with that.
Yeah,
so,
with him going back to KO and then taking the titles off the Usos.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now to the end of the show. This could have been something they just did for Castle Grayskull people. Why was this led on the end of the show that Tyson Fury gets to come in the ring? By the way, Drew looked like he didn't know that American Pie was a fucking song.
Yeah, he did not. The funny thing is, I read today, that wasn't supposed to be aired at the end of the pay-per-view. It was supposed to be something strictly for them. So to your point, it's supposed to be strictly for people in Wales, but for some reason the cameras kept rolling, and so they advertised it, and they played it.
So awkward.
It was. I was sitting there like, what the fuck is this? And it took Cody texting us and he texted me and he goes, oh, this is a thing that Tyson Fury does after every one of his fights or something like that. I'm like, this happens? This is real? This is legitimate? This isn't just like drunk Tyson Fury on a power high after knocking out Theory and he's just celebrating or what?
Tyson Fury is from Wales or the UK or whatever, right?
Yeah, somewhere in that area.
Why is he singing American Pie
That
then?
was the other flip side of that, is American Pie does not fit that whatsoever. Maybe it's just his favorite song, Mark. I don't know.
It's not like I'm going to go sing You're Tearing Up My Heart at every baseball game or football game that I'm going to announce here in the near future.
If you're not singing that or Oops, I Did It Again, I don't know what you're doing. It feels like you're missing an opportunity.
Every time we end a podcast, we have to sing You're Tearing Up My
Up my
Heart.
heart when I'm with you.
What? It's like everybody's there. Sometimes you get crossover between boxing fans. I was when it was Tyson and Holyfield and wrestling, and like you get that crossover. A lot of times you don't because
Yeah. Well, and they didn't even advertise Fury for being there, so you couldn't even have the opportunity to have that crossover.
no. So everybody there is like, oh, Tyson Fury's there. That's cool. He did a stick one time. Wait, he's getting in the ring. Holy shit, is he going to go after Drew? No, they're going to sing American Pie together. It was just random.
It was karaoke hour in Wales, in Cardiff. I mean, God bless her soul, but maybe that's what did the Queen in. He turned his back on the UK and started singing American Pie, and the Queen was just like, I can't do this. My boxing champion has forsaken me.
Oh my God.
I love her. Rest in peace. But just saying.
So, overall, Clash at the Castle. That's the second time I said it right. It was a glorified Raw. Or SmackDown or whatever. I mean, like, it was pumped to be. And I'll tell you, the crowd was insanely hot and you could have went and just shit in the middle of the ring and they would have been excited. Because they haven't seen wrestling in 30 years. No shit. I would have been the same way.
Yeah.
It wasn't as wrestling going people. This actually was just a mid-card 60,000 plus event.
Yeah. I mean, two great matches stood out. We talked about them. That was it. I want it to be more, but what I hope happened with this is I'm okay with accepting it being, it wasn't really anything out that. What I hope comes out of this is more pay-per-views in the UK for the UK audience and bigger pay-per-views. We don't have to create special ones. Although I'm thinking, I kind of like this little pay-per-view of Clash at the Castle. I think that was a kind of a neat little pay-per-view and a little shtick. I think they should keep that on there.
I love the CG.
I did too. It was fantastic. So, but I want to see maybe a Survivor Series or SummerSlam or something else come back. WrestleMania, I've said it. Let's make it big. Have they named 40 yet? Where the 40 is at? I can't remember. But if they haven't named WrestleMania 40, where else than London?
Well, wait. What's coming up? I've lost numbers.
Is it 30?
I thought
30. Oh, is 40 Philly?
40's Philly. Yeah.
Oh, it's 40 Philly. Okay. So then 41, I think they got to put in London.
Yeah.
But maybe that's hopeful thinking. I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking it up now. Yeah, it is 40. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we'll see. But I think if anything, this does them right, and let's get more pay-per-views in the UK.
Agreed. And you're there for a week, essentially, when you're at WrestleMania. It's a week-long thing.
That's perfect.
Let them have Raw. Let them have SmackDown. Both of them are live that week from wherever. You can bounce from a different city just to get back to Cardiff if that's where you're going to host it. WrestleMania for the 2 nights. Cool. It kills the indie thing, though, that's in America. So you'd have to have a pseudo, maybe an NXT show on a Saturday night that takes over for that in Brooklyn or something for their takeover.
Maybe do that the night before, or like the Friday night before, Thursday before, something like that. I would agree with that. I think they could make a whole thing touring each capital city with it. So you can go to Cardiff for one Raw, go to Dublin for SmackDown, Hall of Fame, whatever. Then you're going to London maybe for Mania for 2 nights, and then you pop up to Edinburgh, Scotland for the next Raw and all that. Then you just tour the UK a little bit there, and then you take it back home. But to your point, but also it's going to kill the American indie scene, yes. But I could also see WWE pulling in and Bailey's she's going to disagree with me on this, but this would be an opportune kickoff for this NXT UK coming up. That's not UK, but
Europe.
NXT Europe that's coming up next. Yeah. Ideally, tied to Mania, kick it off from there and go forward with it.
Agreed. I like that. I don't have much on Raw. I watched it, but I don't remember much, and I don't even really know if I took a lot of notes. I only have one real bitch, and I really, really hate it.
Let me guess. Is it involving a monster among men?
Yes.
How'd I know? But go for it.
He's back.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm all right with that. Why not have him rip off the cage and attack Bob or Miz or something like that? He is ruined. And I know it's WWE's MO. Your tag team division.
Yeah.
Who's your... Tell me, out of those 8 guys... By the way, only one person didn't get hit. Can you tell me who didn't get hit? Think about it.
It was Montez, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was going to say Dawkins got it.
He buried everybody else. All four of those teams are now shit to me.
Yeah.
Because that one guy, he's a monster, whatever, buried them.
And let's go off that point. He's a SmackDown exclusive wrestler now, from what I've seen. He's going to be on SmackDown. He wasn't even supposed to be on. He debuted on Raw, just to debut on Raw, and he's on SmackDown tonight apparently, and he's supposed to be strictly on SmackDown.
Already dropping the ball on him.
Yeah.
You had to bring him into that. Have him debut tonight then. Or last night, because you're listening to it on Saturday. But have him debut on SmackDown. Attack Roman then. Whoever. How about first you have to build him back up? Because I can't put anything into him, by the way. He took his ball and went home. Created his own narrative.
Yep. There's nothing there. He's got to build himself back up. They're forcing that to happen by him destroying the tag team division, but ruining the tag team division at the same time.
Yeah.
It sucks.
So as of right now, I don't care that he's back.
That's fair. I mean, what's he going to do? That's the $1 million question right now. What is his next steps? I do want to give props, though, earlier in that match. Do you know what spot I'm going to give props to? You might not. I loved. First of all, I was utmost confused when Xavier Woods and Kofi were tagged in at the same time and had to face each other. But I absolutely love that they tried to pin each other.
Yeah.
A la Outlaws 97, 98. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that little throwback there.
I wish that would have went the way.
Yeah. That would have been it.
And then Braun could have came out and be
destroy people.
Yeah. That would have sold it better for me because he's just pissed that he's back.
Yeah.
But he interrupted the match and it did nothing.
Exactly. Finish the match quick. Have everybody standing around like bitching because what the fuck just happened? What yada yada yada. And then Braun comes out, railroads people. Perfectly done.
Yeah.
But
everything else we essentially talked about. Roundabout, we kind of gave little feeders of what's going on.
Yeah.
Miz stolen again.
Yeah, I mean, Dexter at least made his way under the ring this time. So I guess that's a plus. Also, I just have to say this because I'm hoping this doesn't change in the next 2 months. If Survivor Series does what's done in the past, where it's, brand versus brand, champion versus champion, you know what matches 2 months down the road? Bobby Lashley versus Gunther. Can you imagine that fucking match at Survivor Series?
That's got to be the main event.
It has to be.
Because your tag team and both of your championships are on the same people.
Exactly. They're going to be involved in that match, in that one elimination match. We're assuming is going to be the case.
Right.
So that would have to be the main event. And I can't fucking wait. After the Sheamus thing, I'm now clamoring for any other big man matches that we can get with Gunther. Just fucking how it's going to go. So
I didn't think of that. Because I don't see anybody taking it from Bob here in the near future. And Gunther can't. As much as this match did a lot for him, but people didn't watch UK or even a lot of NXT when he was down there. So they were just getting used to Gunther. He needs it until then.
Yeah, he does.
Good pickup. I didn't even think of that. Good pickup.
I was thinking about it during the course of the week, and I'm like, wait a minute. If they go brand versus brand, that's the perfect setup for that match. So,
yeah,
something to look forward to. But
I don't think they can though. I hope they don't. Honestly.
Yeah. No, I agree. But
that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Worn out.
We went through the ringer.
Because again, we did the show backwards, but we had to. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed Rampage and what's up to come from Wednesday night to really Friday to watching it, listen to this on Saturday. We'll be back to kind of a regular schedule next week, depending.
Yes, unless something happens.
The scrum's not over, essentially.
There's going to be more coming out probably.
So we'll keep bringing you the hot takes. Jenks, I love you. This was fun. I know we're both sweating still from the first segment that we're just kerfuffled.
We're kerfuffled. That should be the name, I think, is just kerfuffle.
I don't know how to spell it.
That's what Google's for, I think.
Kerfuffled.
Kerfuffled is a good one. Maybe we'll go kerfuffled. But
yes! A kerfuffled week. All right, I hope you go to the football game, or you're at the football game as people are listening to this. Pitt, Tennessee. I didn't have a lot of stock in this game, but now I'm actually worried.
Both teams are ranked. It's going to be a good one. Although Tennessee finds a way to fuck things up, so
they beat Ball State like 57 million to 1, but it's Ball State, yeah.
I think local colleges could beat Ball State at this point, but that's a different story for a different time.
Yeah, they didn't. Duquesne played Florida. Never mind. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
A garbage can, not a garbage cannot.